Hello.
Hi, Terry. We haven't started yet.
You know what? It says I'm in a practice session.
It's because I haven't started the webinar yet.
Well, I'm in Serbia, so I wanted to sign on to make sure I could sign up.
Yeah, you're in.
Hi, John.
Hey there. Hello. Let's see, get this going here. Ah,
Hey.
hi, Terry.
Hi, John.
I'm on the Florida Coastal Caravan and I can only stay connected for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes at the most, for a big event that's coming up. So I hope that we can get through any voting that needs to be done before I have to leave, but I don't know how that'll work.
I don't know either.
Well, anyway,
You'll do your best. I'm also in Serbia on a boat, and I hope that I can hold on to my internet, but we will be departing from this port. I actually hear the engines starting pretty soon, so I hope I can hold on to it. If not,
you're in
Jenny,
Serbia. That's
I'm in Serbia.
great.
Crazy.
Oh my God. Hey, Michael.
John Holly, how are you, sir?
Good, good. I was telling Terry I've only got about 45 to 50 minutes to be on the call because I'm at the Florida Coastal Caravan and we got a big event at noon. So I have to get out of here before then. So I'm hoping that
Your best life.
yeah, any voting that takes place, I hope happens before then. Otherwise, I think my second vice president, Ron Jorgensen, will be hooked up. Sam will not be hooked up.
See ya.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Sean. How are you doing? Or is it Lori or
Hi,
Sean? Who's
Sean.
saying hello? Oh, hey, Sean. Hey, I got your email. We need to connect. I want to spend a little time on a virtual meeting with you going over your email.
Okay, cool. Anytime.
I've been, I apologize. I've been
Right now. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Florence.
Hello.
Hi, Lori Grassi.
Oh, Terry, look at that beautiful view.
Yeah, it's the Danube.
The Danube. Ooh.
Mhm. It's incredible. It's just incredible trip.
I
Let's
hope
see.
you're having good food and wine.
We are definitely having both. Definitely having both. Tomorrow we go to Belgrade, which will be
Oh,
interesting.
wow. Lori, the Parises and I have been talking about you this morning.
Oh, goody. I love them. And sorry, my camera's not on. I'm eating my breakfast as fast as I can. And you don't probably want to watch me do that.
They are so much fun. We're on the Florida Coastal Caravan together.
They are
They
so
are-
much fun.
Yeah.
And they live and breathe Airstream. And they
Yeah.
cook like maniacs. They're
Oh,
amazing.
they're crazy. They're crazy. And they live
Hi,
in that
Jen.
little 20-foot full-time caravan
With a big dog.
with
Yeah.
a big German Shepherd. Oh my God. It's crazy.
Let's see.
Tell them I said hello.
I will. I
Yeah, me
will.
too.
They wanted to crash this. I said, no, I don't think it's a good idea. Although you stick your head in and say, "Hi, Lori."
They're my hair twins. When I first met them, we looked at each other and went, are we related?
Oh, I thought they were related.
I know everybody says that.
Yeah, right.
Hello, John.
Hi.
Hi,
Hey,
Jenny.
Tracy. Hi, Jenny.
The other
Jenny.
John is here too.
Oh,
John Holly and John
Deegan.
Deegan's here.
Yep. Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, I
Yes.
can wave at
Good
everybody
morning.
now.
Florence, Don, and Michelle say hello to you too.
Oh, I miss them.
I have to put up
Good
with them
morning,
every day
Terry.
here. That's incredible.
Hi, Hal.
Hello.
Hey, good to see you, Hal.
Oh, nice to be
Terry.
seen, actually. Thank you. You tell them where we are?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. We're on our way. All right. Good
Bye.
meeting.
On the Danube, huh? Wow.
Jenny, can you
Yes. Yes.
hear me? So I'm still good, but the ship's going to be taking off in a while, and I could lose all of this. So did you get all the documents that I sent?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
On the Danube, amazing.
We're doing a Viking river cruise.
Terry, would you mind forwarding to me what you sent to Jenny? Should I need to help her?
All I sent Lori, was the roll call, random roll call sheets. And
Oh, okay.
I can do the intake. I know that I'll be there long enough for that, but do you want me to?
Okay. No,
So-
I didn't know if there was more.
Mm-mm.
I just like to be prepared.
Jenny, is there any chance you could forward that to Lori?
Sure.
I live in fear that I'll lose you all if I do anything.
Lori, all that it is the list of all of the people.
Yeah, I don't need that. We're good. I have a
Okay.
list right here.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all it is. And in the voting, it's randomized.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. We're still
Lori Tilton, are you in your new office?
Yes, I am. It's actually my
Fancy, fancy.
first meeting in here. So we just had the sign stuff delivered. So that's why I feel like I'm a little windblown from being outside. But that's okay. We're here.
We're missing a few people. We've got about 4 minutes. We're missing Millie, Alan. Sorry, there's an engine going here. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, shut that Danube engine down.
What a view.
What
Oh,
have you?
We're missing Millie, Allen, John Becker, Jim Cock, Kendall, and Mona.
And Marcia.
And Marcia.
Marcia won't be attending today.
That's what I thought.
she said I might be in. I saw something from her that said she might be in as soon as her mandatory training's done.
Yeah.
Lori Tilton, do you think there's any problem with people getting in?
No, I see Sherry and Amanda are helping 3 different people.
I came in super early to not have that problem.
So you're all having coffee, but sorry, it's 5 o'clock. I'm having wine.
Great. John, how's the caravan going?
So if
It is fabulous.
I
Good.
can jump in here real quick, guys, any board members that have logged in, we are still seeing a couple names that say board members. If you could please update your name so we know who to promote.
Not seeing that, Lori.
And if you're having issues that you can either text or call Sherry, she's on standby to help. There's Eric, Kendall, Bob.
Kendall. Hi, Kendall.
Hello, Terry.
So Terry, who else did you say we're missing? Jim, Mona,
Millie.
Millie,
John
Jim,
Becker.
Millie, and Alan. So there's 4 people missing.
And Mona. There are more than 4. There are 5.
Okay. Well, the team is working to assist as needed. There's Jim.
Now we're just 4.
We have Gary.
Actually, we're back to 5. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Let's 5. Yeah, we don't have Gary Russo either.
You better get down. Down.
Okay.
I
It-
should be missing this many
In
people.
advance, anybody, if I have to jump up quickly, it's because my cat is getting into something else. So
We understand.
Same here if Debbie is getting into things.
hi, Jim. Good to see you.
Thank you, likewise.
Yeah.
Lori, who is ACI board? Is that Sherry?
No, that's Amanda.
Okay. Hi, Amanda. Okay.
Lori, does it look like they're helping anyone else get in right now?
Well, we have two what called board members, which means you came in probably through Board Effect. So we're trying to figure out who they are right now.
let's give it about 5 minutes to let the people come in if they can. All right, until we
Have
get
Gary
everyone
with
here.
us? We have Gary with us now, which is good. We're down to 4. Millie, Alan, John Becker, and Mona.
Eric looks very corporate today with his coat.
Eric, whoa.
Probably an AI image.
Yeah, could be.
Hi, Gary.
Terry Warren, your audio is very faint here. I hear everybody else equally higher.
Is that better?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm a long ways away.
Yeah, that's it.
Mona texted me that she's in the meeting, but I'm going to guess she's in the other side, not the panelist side.
Okay. So I think what we could do is, Eric, if you're okay, we'll go ahead and promote the 3 board members, and then if they're not truly a board member that needs to be seated, we can demote them.
Okay, go ahead and do that, and I'll wait till you're clear on that.
Gary's on standby for tech support.
We're actually still missing 5 because of Marcia. There's Alan.
Marcia's
Hi,
not going to be here, Terry,
okay. I thought
until later, if at all.
All right, I got a question.
Excellent.
Hi, Mona. So we're missing John Becker and Millie O'Donnell.
Hey, Terry, I'm here with Susan. I'm in Oregon.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I flew in yesterday for the service tomorrow.
Oh, good for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. How's she doing?
Yeah, she's Susan. She's a strong woman, but tomorrow will be interesting. It'll be very sweet.
I bet there'll be
So-
a lot of extreme people there.
There's one more
Yeah.
board member, Amanda, if you could promote, that may be.
They keep
getting a text
declining.
on Becker.
The last board member keeps declining.
Okay, let's do this. We're going to start the meeting, and if y'all could work in the background, and Terry, as always, if they join the meeting after roll call, make a note on when they join, okay?
You got it.
Awesome. All right, well, welcome everyone to our April 17th meeting of the board. I don't really know what month it is actually. So first, let's start off with the most challenging part apparently is roll call. Terry, on to you.
President McHenry.
Present.
Millie is not here yet. Is that right? Millie O'Donnell, not here right now. Finance Director, Alan Robb.
Finally here.
I'm here. Region 1 President, Michael Junta.
Present.
Region 2 President, Gary Russo.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Gary. Region 3 President, Bob Ely.
Good morning, and I'm present.
Region 4 President, Fred Keel.
Present.
Region 5 President, John Deegan.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. Region 6 President, Jan Hevener.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Jan. Region 7 President, Chris Olson.
Good morning, I'm here too.
Morning, Chris. Region 8 President, Rick Everson.
Good morning, I'm here.
Great. Region 9 President, Tracy Elkins.
Present.
Good morning, Tracy. Region 10 President, Florence Timoni.
Hey, great to see everyone present.
Morning, Florence. Region 11 President, John Hawley.
Good morning, everyone.
And John, just let me know when you leave and your vice president steps in, please.
All
Region
right.
12 President, John Bloom.
Present. Good morning.
Good morning. EC member John Becker is still not here. Is that correct? I'm going to put him absent and I'll keep track of when he joins. EC member Kendall Felder.
Present.
EC member Kathy Giese.
Present.
Member Jenny Schnettler.
Present.
He's past president Mona Watts. I know you're here.
I'm present. I'm here.
Executive Director Lori Tilton.
Here.
Parliamentarian Lori Grassi.
Good morning, and I just got a text message that Millie can't get in.
She can call Sherry for support from the email yesterday, or I'm sorry. I think the email went out Tuesday.
Okay, y'all work that in the background and keep going, Terry.
We have everybody. I want you to notice today that I did the region presidents first rather than the EC. Change the order
Nice.
a little bit.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, thank you guys. So we'll first minutes. Terry, do you want to handle the minutes?
Yes, I have one correction to the minutes. My auto speller keeps changing Sean's last name to Bloom, so I have made those corrections, and I have submitted a new PDF to the minutes. They are filed with that correction. Otherwise, does anybody have anything they want?
Thank you, Terry, but I've learned to answer to many names over the years.
Okay, well, I just want to make it right. It just keeps doing it, and I think I've got it, but then I don't. So thank you, Sean.
Okay, Millie just joined us, Terry. So we're
Sorry
gonna...
about that. Bad link. I'm on now. Thanks to Amber.
Okay, so let's keep going. So we have a lot to do today, I think, or it kind of depends, right? So from our president's report, y'all can read it in Board Effect. But I did want to highlight a couple of things. You know, first of all, our next meeting together will be on July 17th. And that is the reorganization meeting where the incoming board, so the board of 2025, August 2025, will have a chance to select their new officers. And per our bylaws, that meeting is run by our PIP, our past international president. So Mona will be running that meeting, but I'm hoping that all of you will be there, whether you're in the new or not. And that's pretty exciting to see the sort of the transfer and new people coming in, right? The thing I wanted just to mention, you know, we try things right in our club, and some things work, some things don't, some things kind of work. And you know, both Airstream and I were really. Oh, question about starting the recording if it isn't already. Someone could do that, please. The question was about, you know, were there some other interesting opportunities for us to enjoy our Airstreams, right? And you know, we have 20,000 members across our club, and some people like to go to the boonies, to boondocks. Some people like to go on cruises. And when we talked with Airstream in Sedalia, Missouri, Molly and I were chatting about a concept of having sort of a more of a curated. And of course, as you all know, it's called Camp Airstream Yellowstone for this first year. And this first year is a pilot. I'm really happy to share that as of this morning, there's 105 registrations were made out of the total 144 sites. So they're almost 3/4, or maybe a little bit more than 2/3 sold out. And the cool thing about it was that we were able to negotiate an early access for our club members. And 85 of our club members signed up during the early access period. And they got a substantial savings as part of that. Now, if Camp Airstream is successful, the plan is to try to duplicate that across the country in upcoming years. In fact, there may be something in the fall or the winter. So I'm really excited about it. You know, clearly, Camp Airstream Yellowstone doesn't fit all of our members, but it clearly fits a lot of them, and that's kind of how we do our stuff, right? So congratulations on that. Thank you to headquarters, particularly for the strong messaging out to our members to make sure they were aware of the very short time frame they had to sign up to get that fairly substantial discount. So good news on that. Thank you all. Okay, so now we're going to go to exec council reports, and we've got a couple really fun ones. I know ahead of time. So I'm just going to start with Ginny, and then we'll go to Kindle. All right, so Ginny.
Thank you. Well, this is exciting. As you know, we're wrapping up. You all received an invitation for the party that's coming up on May 3rd, and 99% of you are making it. Okay, that's a lie. You're not. But it's about 100 people are coming to that party. There's an open house, and coinciding with the opening of Michael Lambert's art exhibit over at the Heritage Center. And the Airstream folks will be joining both events. So it's kind of a big deal. So that is kind of the culmination of all the efforts that Fred, Jim, John, and I, and all sorts of folks put into getting this project off the ground and completed. It went well. Okay, so now we're on to phase 2, and phase 2 officially launches on May 3rd with several points. I've gone ahead, and Lori, can you submit, or can you bring up the picture of the exterior of 803?
Sure
This is an artist rendering of the new facade of 803. As you know, the roof was damaged, in the last storm. And so compliments of Mother Nature, we get to have our roof repaired and brand new composite siding. So at that point it begs, well, what shall we do with the exterior of this building? We're going to have a 3/4 facelift. Let's go all the way. So this coming up, I'm not seeing it yet, is going to be an artist rendering of, pardon me, Lori?
I'm asking it, I'm sorry, Jenny, can I get any, I can't see everybody on the screen, so can
Yes,
anybody?
it's up. It's up.
I see it.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm not seeing it at all. I'm just seeing a black screen. At any rate, I hope you can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You may have to double click to see it.
Okay, well, I'm not, so that's okay. At any rate, the image that you are looking at shows painting a new facade of stone and creating a flatter profile around it. And then we can switch to the site plan, please. So this is an overview site plan that you'll see next. And what this is shows the new expansion of our Airstream campus. I'm not actually able to see that picture. Oh, well.
Okay, it's up now.
Okay, as long as you guys can see it, I don't need to. At any rate, what you're seeing is the new dog park, the brick path that connects the two sites, and you'll see 12 campsites. You'll see the pavilion and a fire pit. What our intent is to take the earth that we're removing from around the earth berm of the building, which will become stone faced, and that becomes the new ground joining the two areas together so they're more level, so you don't fall off the parking lot in 803 when you're walking over to 707. So at any rate, this is the site plan, and I went ahead and took it to the county, Shelby County, and to the village of Jackson Center. Lori and I had a meeting with the village, and they were beyond thrilled with this expansion concept because they had actually been trying to consider economic development in the city of Jackson Center. And so this was, they're beyond thrilled. They can't believe we want to do this. What was sort of fun, and I had this idea, but at the meeting, they were so amenable. I said, okay, well, here's my thought. I would, that pool that's right across the street that's hardly ever used with pickleball, tennis courts, and basketball. I would like to have a contract with you for every member that comes and camps here. They get a pass to get to use that pool and any amenities that are alongside of it. They said, done. Easy peasy. So they're very excited. There's a very large pole that feeds the electric actually for 803, but the pole is situated in that grassy area between the two driveways over by 707. It's a huge light on it. And I asked them, is there any way this pole can be moved and we can bury these utilities so we can utilize that space to put 6 campsites? They said, we'll find out for you. Well, I had a meeting with them a week and a half ago and to go over all the final approvals. And they, excuse me, I have to turn that off.
Good. Can I call you back? I'm right in the middle of a Zoom call.
Anyway,
Unless it's an emergency.
Gary, we can hear your call. Thank you. At any rate, I went ahead and had a meeting with them back at the Village Hall with the finalized zoning application. It was approved fully. We do not need to entertain this any further than the county level, and that's all been approved. So we have our permit ready to go with this expansion as you see it. So we're going to expand to 12 sites, and that's, we had talked at one point having a feasibility study of expanding that cornfield where you see it says 9+ acres. That's to the south. We had discussed a plan to consider expanding that to a 30, 40, or even 50 site RV campsite just for Airstream. But that's a very big ticket item. It's not necessarily where we want to go running an Airstream park unless we have the justification that says it would be utilized. In this 12 site little camping expansion that we're doing now is sort of a litmus test. It's truly a pilot study to find out if we use them, will we need more demand? If we don't, that says, great, well, we didn't cut into the cornfield at this point and undergo all sorts of capital expense that we ultimately won't use. So I love the idea. And I will give Jim Cock credit. He's the one that came up with the thought of putting the 6 campsites between the 2 buildings, copying what we had done for the Helen's Homecoming rally a year ago in May, excuse me. So things are on a roll. We're doing really well. And as of March 3rd, we launched the official fundraising efforts for this project. And as I said, you might notice that brick path, those will be engraved bricks, laser engraved bricks. That's a huge opportunity for fundraising. And that all launches that day. There's a few other little goodies we have coming along. And David Gully and I have been busy putting that together, and there'll be a brochure prepared with a presentation for May 3rd as well. So if you haven't booked your flight to come on out, I would say come on out and join us at the party. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to make a difference. But anyway, thank you for all the support in achieving these goals. We're on a roll, and we want to keep this engine moving forward at fast steam. Thanks so much.
Jenny, that's fantastic. And just to clarify, so those 6 and then 12, will those continue to be administered through courtesy parking Harvest Host? Is that still the plan?
You know what? At this point, yes, but not once we have the member clubhouse open. And the reason why is because we will be having, there'll be some expenses involved in running that member clubhouse. And I'd love for it to be self-sustaining. I'd love for a small camping fee to pay for the laundry and the showers and the lights.
Thank you so much. Like a lot of things, there's a ton that goes on behind the works. I hope you guys are getting a sense for all the work that's gone on just from pretty much 2 or 3 years ago to make this happen. So thank you so much, Jenny, for leading the project, Jim and others. Just fantastic results, which of course is what we're looking for. All right, and on that spirit, let's hand it over to Mr. Felder there. He has some other great news we've all been salivating for I think, gosh, as long as I've been in leadership in the club. Kendall, on to you, buddy.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here and share what we have been doing. I know you guys have all been getting a ton of emails from me about app and progress and joining beta and et cetera, et cetera. But for those of you who have not joined the beta yet and seen what we're doing, I want to present it today and give you a kind of a rundown and a high-level overview of what things look like. So let me get my screens going here. This is the right one. Nope, this one. There we go.
John Becker, I have you in.
Are you guys? Are you guys able to see my screen now?
Just came up.
Yep.
There it is.
Perfect. So I want to talk through how things work, where we are going with the design, and what was the intent and purpose of the app. So one of the first things is security. The only way you can use our app and log into it is you must have an email address within the club database. So every new user will come, they will click the create account button, and they must first verify the email address resides in the ACI database. If it does not, it will not let you in. It won't tell you your email doesn't exist. So what we put in security purpose wise was we put in a little script that says your email address has not been found. Please contact headquarters. What that means is the email address doesn't exist, and we don't want to say it doesn't exist. That way they don't keep finding other email addresses. If there's a husband and if there's a partner team and they're using an email address, you can only log in once. You can't log in twice. So there's that. And once you put your email address in, you have to verify it. It will send you an email link. You click verified email link, and that lets us know that is truly you and a true person. And now you can log in to the app. And then once you log in, you will initially be presented with a walkthrough step-up tutorial on what the app is, what it's designed for, and how it works. But now you get in, and here it is. And the great feature that what initially started this off was being able to look up someone going down the road, or that you at a rally and go, who's that trailer? Who's 420? You put it in, you do a quick lookup, and it tells you right away, this is that member. And it shows that member, and if they have a partner, it shows their partner, the email address, their name, and then it also shows what club, region, or state they're from. And right now, if we are pulling the data from the database, we can't modify it, we can't do anything with it. We are only being able to look at the data that's in the database. So what we told the app is, if a member doesn't have a club or don't have a region, assign them to Mal. So that's why you're seeing Mal, and Mal may be mistakenly on some other members at this point until we can find a better way to do it. But if they are truly a member, then it goes to Mal. If they're a part of a club, then it will say they're part of which club, which region in the state. And continuing with that, if you know somebody's name and you want to look them up, you can go to membership directory and you can search by name and incarnation, first name, last name, and you can come up with that member. Oh, I spelled my name wrong. And you should be able to come up with a member and click on them, and there they are. Additionally, we're also making it so that you can do it by club. So you look for a club name, and any member of that club would pop up. I just didn't clear my name out there, but you can look up member by clubs. And then additionally, we can do regions. If you can do region free, then they give you every member in region free. So you know who's all there. And then jump back up real quick. We also wanted to have the ability for club members to be able to communicate amongst club members. So we created Campfire, and the thought process was, you're camping, sitting on the campfire, and you're talking and sharing stories. And that's what Campfire is all about. It's a place where we can go and share stories of things we're doing. And they kind of keep it a little organized. When you create a post, we kind of give you categories. You're talking about trail tales. And you notice everything is Campfire themed. So trail tales, spark queries, gear reports, camp hacks, all things that we as members may want to share amongst each other. You can add photos to it. You can add videos. You can like something. You can comment on it. If you like it, you can save it and put it in your Ember cache for looking at later. If you got people that you want to follow, that's my circle. People that you can go back to and look at posts that you really like. In addition, they're kind of keeping that same theme of communicating among ourselves. We have whispers. So you sit in the campfire and the group breaks out and they're off to the side and they're chatting and whispering among themselves. That's what whispers is. You can now communicate member to member via the app. And if you got a group of people, let's say you're doing a rally or something, you can also create a group and have an entire group that you're communicating with. So you can select who all you want in your group, and then get a group a name, and then now you communicate amongst yourself in a group. Leadership of the directory, we're still working on that. Once we get that, we have the code on our side is done. We're waiting for the data from ACI to come through so we can connect our code to the data and put leadership data in. Once it is there, you'll be able to look up and find all of the important people. I'm sorry, not important people, everyone's important. Find the leaders within the club that you need to connect with, and you know how to reach out to them quickly. We wanted to make it so easy so members can get to events. So the events button really takes you back to the website where you can get to all the events and look it up. And I've heard from several people and they really love this feature. It's been great to them. The ones that beta testing, they're like, we can look at events easy now. As of right now, we're not pulling the event data from the website, so we can't manipulate it or using to the app. So we're just making it a link back to the website. Same thing with blog. The blog is also went to the website, bringing it in, and you can easily go ahead and read things that we're putting out for members to read via the blog. Moving down, the next thing we have is courtesy parking. We are trying to make that a little bit better, but it's pushing everyone out to Horace Host for courtesy parking. And we do have a little information pop up, let them know how to use it. If they never have, they must have an Horace Host account. They must be registered to the club. And then once you get in there, how to filter down and find Airstream only parking within Horace Host, so that when on the road, they can quickly pop out and try to find courtesy parking somewhere. This was a Lori G parliamentarian request, and we implemented it. We put the blue book in, and that way members can go out and find the rules of the club, and they're there at quick access. I see you, show your hands, Laurie. And then for regular membership, that is the app, but I lied. There's actually one more feature for regular members. And the very bottom is emergency assistance. The thought process here was that members out on the road and they have a tire blowout and they may need assistance. You hit the button and then emergency request goes out to members within 50-mile radius of that member, saying that Kendall Felder is on the side of the road with a flat tire. Can you give him assistance? And then you can reach out to him and contact them and come assist if needed. It's there as an emergency button, but it is there. You can press mechanical issue, medical, or safety, inject the other members so we can try to get help amongst our membership. And that is the last feature for normal members within the app. On top of that, there will be buttons for administrators, moderators, and the broadcast. Admin dashboard for admins to go in and create moderators, create broadcasters, see what all users are there, and if a user has done something that warrants suspending, they can be suspended. Or if a user, moderator is just that. If somebody posts something and it is against the club's guidelines, as well as Apple or Google, and we have to take action, you can flag a post. Come back down. I can't flag my own, but you can flag a post, and then the moderators will see it, and the moderators can take action against it. And the last feature here is actually one for headquarters. And I mentioned it to Sherry, but I haven't given the headquarters much notice about it yet. What we're creating is a way for headquarters to broadcast out messages to the entire membership if they're in the app. Let's say it's voting time and register to vote. Headquarters can put in, don't forget to vote, send it out, and it goes out to membership through the app to take action on something. And the last little feature here is every little page has a help icon. The help icon, it tells you what the features are about and how to use it. You go to settings and you can upload a photo yourself. Privacy policy is there. User statement is there. App version, and then we are syncing the data for offline access. So if you're someplace and you don't have good internet connection, you can still get the membership data via the app. And for the most part, that is it. And I see I got some questions for Mona.
Hey, first and foremost, wow, it's super impressive, Kendall. I love what you and I love that Mark has helped as well. There's a whole team behind this. I have a question about the Blue Book.
Yes.
Is there a way, because I'm always about taking the language that we speak at this level and making it more understandable for a broader audience. So you've got Blue Books. Could that line below it that says access Blue Books, could it say our guiding documents or something along that line?
It could.
Because that might make more sense for members that haven't grown up with the old IBT meetings that happened at internationals. So just a thought. But anyhow, bravo.
Yes, that's easy fix, and that will be out in the next update I sent out.
Well, make sure it's okay with everybody else. It was just my suggestion, but thank you.
I'll talk to Lori G.
Okay.
John.
Yeah, go ahead,
Ian?
John. Yeah, Gary and Sean, I think.
Thank you. Wonderful looking program. I assume it's cross-platform specific, especially in messaging. I can go from an iOS to an Android communication. Is that true?
That is true. I should have made that up front. The app was built for both platforms. I'm only showing the Apple side, but Android as well as Apple iOS is out there.
Thank you, Kendall. Second question. Will this provide any IBT specific pages that the IBT will be able to use on the app?
Currently, it does not have that, but that's something that we can maybe discuss for a future update.
And just as something to think about in emergency assistance, I saw there was a button for medical emergency. Is there any way that those types of requests can also be sent to the local 911 dispatch center?
That's a good idea. I would ask them before. So we'll look into that and see if that can it should be able to work, because now you can text message 911. So I think we can figure a text message out to 911.
Thank you very, very much for that and all you guys are doing. Wonderful.
You're very welcome. Gary, and then Sean, and okay. Gary, you're on mute. I still don't hear you, Gary.
Great job again. The issue I wanted to bring up is I know for Region 2, we have a Facebook page. And one of the things that we put out there before we allow people in is just to refresh people on the code of ethics, and they have to actually sign that or notarize that they've read it before they're allowed in, so that we don't have problems on the open forums. That would be something I would recommend. I also wanted to follow up with what John had. When you have medical emergencies, he and I were thinking the same thing. If you've got a medical emergency, I want to be I'm concerned of the fact that somebody goes and does that, expecting it to be dialed into 911 for a medical emergency.
Nope, I understand that one. So I will. We will either take the word emergency out if we can go to text, or we will make it goes to text. And on Campfire, before you get into it, I thought I could just change my mind, but I can't. Before you can get into Campfire, you must acknowledge the rules. And once you acknowledge the rules, you can get in. If you don't acknowledge the rules, you cannot get in.
Perfect.
It will block you. It will block you.
Yeah, that's great. That's what we do. Thank you.
Sean?
Hey, Kendall, well done. This is just awesome. So congrats to you and everyone working on it. It's really fantastic. My question is, who moderates and how much behind the scenes work is required?
So moderators is something that we need to discuss with HQ and the leadership team to discuss who will be moderators. And the work, I don't know yet. Hopefully we're all good and it's very little work.
Yeah, let me just step in. So there's I don't know if one of the EC will talk about it later, but we've had a discussion about moderation just in general for our club, for our Facebook social media sites. And as that gets resolved, probably through policy coming to the board relatively soon, then I think that would probably apply to this. But yeah, good question.
And the last question with Millie, and I'm done.
Thank you, Kendall. And you and your team have done an outstanding job. This is a long time coming. Yesterday, I had a member send me an email, a text message, and a voicemail complaining about our club website as though I was the guru magic frickin' genie that could fix it. And let's face it, I don't think we have one of those. So I was very gentle with her, but I also let her know there's an app coming and you're going to be able to look up those big red numbers and it's going to be so much easier for you to use. And I can't wait. And it calmed her right down. So we're hanging lots of hopes on this, and I'm happy to volunteer to moderate if you need that. The reason I raised my hand besides thanking you was the medical emergency thing does kind of ting a worry in my head. I don't want anybody going on that app and thinking no matter what you can link up with 911 that they're calling 911. We need to encourage members to call the pros. If you need medical stuff, don't wait around for an Airstream to come and try to remember if they know CPR or something. Anyway, wonderful job.
I encourage that. So I will fix it one way or another. It will either get removed or it will get linked out to 911.
Thanks, Kendall. Why don't you stop screen share? So a couple things. I believe there's an article in the upcoming May 1st printed blue beret, Kendall. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Good, thank you. And I'm also kind of on the spot here. Our next campfire chat is on May 7th, and maybe Kendall, take a look at your calendar. We're gonna have Airstream join us to talk about Camp Airstream, and maybe if you're available, you can join us to talk about the app too on May 7th. So take a look at your schedules to get back to me offline.
And then
again, phenomenal work. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, one last thing. I also had a member reach out and how they can help. So I think I have a member that's going to be volunteered to do training for members on how to use the app once it officially launches. So it won't be just a launch and done. It's be a launch and train. And then I've also asked for a spot at the International to provide training to members also.
All right, thank you. Okay, before we move on, I just have to also underscore that this did not come as an accident. Those of you who were around in 2023 for our first IBT strategy session in Jackson Center, I think the top thing, aside from courtesy parking, was getting a mobile app. And we were unable to work our way through that. And Kendall really just made it happen starting about 6 months ago. So thank you for getting us to that. Really appreciate it. And as you all know, it's a nice now group of things for our members. They have the printed the printed membership directory, the glove box version that we're selling, but also now have the app. And that's kind of where we had always wanted to get to, was having paper option plus electronic option. So great job, man. Thank you. All right, let's go around the table for other exec council reports. Any other updates from exec council before we move to executive director? Seeing none, Lori Tilton, on to you.
All right. Well, thanks, Eric. Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. So my report's in the book, and I have it updated in Board Effect, and just want to give you a few updates. So as of this morning, we have 9,817 memberships going. A couple things we're working on besides getting ready for our grand opening, which we're super excited to invite. I hope everybody can make the trip over to see what we have going on here for the May 3rd event. I think it's going to be fantastic. A couple things is we've had feedback for manage our membership. People wanting to have more control over managing their membership when they go to renew or join an affiliate or interclub. So we're working on that. We're kind of reconfiguring some of the database, the website, so it'll be easier for members to maintain that, which we're super excited to get that released. Have some granulated receipts. Chris, you brought that to our attention as well about when you're checking out through your renewal, you're going to see what the international dues are versus your home club versus your affiliates versus your interclub. So that's something that's been asked because there are a lot of you that have quite a few affiliates and interclubs. So it's good times. I love the connection with everybody. Also, everybody should have received, I think it was earlier this week. I'm sorry, my days are screwed up, but tentative IBT schedule for the future. We got everything online and Board Effect through 2025, and then the tentative for 26 and 27 is out there. So of course it's all draft. It's up to the board in the next administration if they want to make any tweaks or anything out there. And then also, I hope everybody received the election bulletin that went out the other day that has all the information about the election coming up and some of the things the team has been working on. I'm really excited about some of the different elements we've brought to this election cycle that we haven't had in the past, which I think will help our members. And one of the big things is the candidate interview night that we're going to be doing in May. So I think, again, last cycle it was asked for, so we were able to get that in the system this time. So looking forward to dealing with that. Moving on to the rally, we are about, I think, 18 away from a sellout in York. So if you have not registered for York, make sure you get registered. And then we will be working on releasing some boondocking options. We do have the ground there, just not the utility. So we'll be working on that and getting that out to everybody. The other good news, although one of my goals since I've been here is to have International Rally as close to HQ as we can. And we've been working with Mercer County, which is about 40 minutes from here. And they have been doing a lot of development. I was told on Tuesday they got all their funding and they have started to build a new grand, what they call a grand center, which is what we need to be able to rally there. So that is all looking good. So that's the 2028. So we'll be meeting with them more here in a couple weeks. But if they can make that happen, I think it'll be really exciting for our members to be able to have an IR so close to Jackson Center where we can really get Airstream Inc. and just a lot of opportunities here locally to make all of that happen. So that's all I have right now. Thank you. I see Don Holly's hand up. Yes, sir.
Hey, Lori. I just wanted to make sure that you have a really good sound man this year for the rally. I don't know where you go for that. I know we've had some in the past, and I know last year we were all very disappointed because the guy was a rodeo sound guy and he never was at the console during the entire thing. So
I would send an email to the rally team. The rally committee manages all that, John. And as you
Okay.
know, we go from site to site. So it depends on where we are, the building, all kinds of things. So, but I will make sure I bring that up with the rally team.
Great. Thank you very much.
Terry?
Lori, I just want to thank you for doing a great job consistently on our behalf for the club. You're a rock star and we're glad to have you. Thanks.
Gosh,
for all
thanks,
you do.
Terry. Appreciate it. I wish I was on the boat with you, though. That looks pretty amazing. Hey, Chris.
Hi, question. The MailChimp integration, is that going to replace Outlook as our standardized mail program, or is it something in addition to Outlook?
That is a tool in addition to the ITC, and Mark Neidham can give you more information on that. But
Okay.
Outlook is basically it's what you're going to use as your email handler, and then the MailChimp is more of a mail distribution system than a handler. So, but the ITC can definitely help you more with that.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Jenny?
I just wanted to quickly answer John's question. The sound company we are using is the sound company that is used all the time at the York grounds. So we are not actually bringing in a newbie who's trying it. We're bringing in the seasoned pro. So I hope it's a whole lot better.
Yeah. Well, that was what we were told in Sedalia as well. That guy was there all the time, the same company, but you guys know how it is. We'll do the best we can with the resources we have. So unless anybody else has any other questions, I will turn it back over to Eric. Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lori. All right. Finance Director, quarterly finance update, Alan.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Let me project my screen here. Can everybody see that okay? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, we've got 40 pages to go through this quarter, so I'm going to skip through some of them relatively quick. But let me at least walk you through what we've got. So did that advance to the next screen okay?
Yes.
Cautionary note. Okay, I want to make sure I've got 3 screens here. I want to make sure I'm showing you the right screen. So I had some feedback after the last quarter's meeting that I didn't spend enough time on this. So I'm going to read this, and I know that I don't need to read to y'all, but for anybody else that's listening, just to understand what this is. So it basically states that I'll make certain statements in this presentation that are forward looking, and they're subject to risk and uncertainties. I may use words like beliefs, assumptions, and expectations for future performance to take into account information that I currently have available to us and Lori has available to her as well. Actual results going to differ. This isn't an accounting presentation. This is a financial forecasting presentation. So although we believe expectations reflected in the forward-looking statements that I'll make are reasonable based upon the market conditions and what we understand, we can provide no assurance that our forward-looking statements but actually reflect actual results. That's the meat of this, just to let you know that a lot of this stuff is, you know, wet cement. And when we get to the end of the quarter and we close the books, those are actual numbers. But as I start talking about where I think we're going to come out for the rest of the year, things could actually change. All right. A few things I wanted to go through with you. We'll go through our MD&A, which I do every quarter. How are we doing against our strategy? I had a request to put in here how the Finance Committee is executing its strategy in the last, I guess, about a year. We've been doing this now. So the financial statements have expanded. So instead of just reporting to you 3 financial statements every quarter, now I've got 12. And so we're going to go through what those are. And you'll see Lori and her team have done a ton of work on this. The reserve schedule and the mortgage update, we've changed the accounting on lifetime membership accounting. I want to walk through that with you so you understand what we've changed. There's a treasurer's handbook we're going to kick off if I've got y'all support. I need to go through that with you, and then work we've been doing on our insurance policies. Let's go through our MD&A first. Now we have 3 sets of financial statements. So Caravan, International, Rally, and the club, the core club, ACI. All of those now have their own financial statements, meaning that they all have their own balance sheet, cash flow, and income statement, or P&L. And then where you get to 12 is when you add all that together, you get to a total for those 3 entities. Now, it might seem a little bit like overkill to y'all, but the beauty is now each entity can operate as its own profit center unto itself without having to utilize funds in a big pot of money. So we've segregated everything, and took a lot of setup time for Lori and her team, but now that we've got it done, I think you'll like the clarity that we've got. We did find some money in lifetime membership accounting. I'm going to go through that when we get there. Number 3, there is in our policies book under 16.6.1 sections F and G, a quarterly and an annual reporting requirement from the clubs to headquarters. I am unaware that anybody reports quarterly, but on an annual basis, we had 15 of our 124 clubs that actually reported their financial statements in. I took that analysis, or that information rather, and I analyzed it. Average bank balance for those 15 clubs is about $14,000, and all those clubs increased on average about $4,200 year over year. There's a reason for this reporting. There's also a compliance section with some consequences if you don't report. The Finance Committee has not done a good job at being clear on what the reporting is used for, or what it is, or the format of the reporting. So that will be an initiative for the Finance Committee this year. And we'll look at the end of this year to get all 124 clubs' financials reported into headquarters according to our policies. So just to let you know that I did analyze what came in last year, and it was just about 10% of the clubs. We've added more money to the reserve. I'll go through that. And then the mortgage is continuing to come down, and I'll go through that as well. So those are your headlines. The new treasurer's handbook, the idea here is, and I've got a section on it, I'm going to go through in more detail, is to launch a national treasurer's handbook as a guide. It's not a mandate, it just is a guide. And so we've got an initiative we want to put together on that. I'll go through that in a little bit more detail. Banking activity, we did make a reserve deposit, which I'll go through. The lifetime savings money that we're going to save from the accounting change, I'll go through that. We had $1,021 left in the renovation of 707 East Pike. We've closed that account out. We've moved it into account for 803 renovation. A little bit what Jenny talked about earlier. So we've got $1,000 started in that account for that. And then their progress against the strategy. I did share this with you at the end of the year, but just to give you a headline, the Finance Committee up top, the WHO, you can see the names listed there. We've added Sally McDonald, who will be leading our National Treasurer's Handbook work. And then you can see Millie there, and Jim is onto his CBL work. I'm not going to read this to you at all. You can read on your own. On the left-hand side, the big rocks, the things, 19, we closed about 30 projects last year. The top 19 are listed on the left, and you can read through those at your own leisure. The numbers in the green box on the right, the budget is balanced. Finally, we have a balanced budget. This year's planned to be at 0, which is fantastic. The reserves, since we started focusing on this and putting that new reserve policy in, is up $70,000 last year and another $125,000 planned this year. The mortgage is down $45,000 with another $60,000 that I've got sightline in for this year. So the mortgage started at $476,000. It's down to whatever 476 less 45 is, and we've got another 50 to 60,000 planned this year. We passed 6 motions last year as the finance committee, and we've got 5 big projects underway, which you can see down in the lower right-hand corner. So, all right, before I go through the financials, I'll pause. Is there any questions before I get through the financials?
I was just obvious comment that I was just smiling. I asked Alan to put this together because we had a big push in our club starting 2 years ago to really beef up our financial transparency, our compliance and communication and acumen, and this is just absolutely hit it out of the park. So we have some phenomenal members. Thanks, Alan, for leading the team and the team members who are on it. But what a difference from our past. So thank you very much.
Yep. No, thanks to the team. They have done great work. So thank you, Eric. All right. So what I'm going to go through with you is I'm going to go through the total. You remember I told you there's 12 financial statements now. 3 of them are totals. So I'm going to go through the totals with you. And then I'm going to hit some highlights on all the other statements. I'm not going to go through all 12 statements with you in detail. Your eyes would bleed by the end. So let's go through the totals now. The P&L, which you're used to seeing every month, here's what I've done. So this top section up here, where my mouse is moving, down to ACI net income, that's the club. And then I've put a summary line on here for International Rally and Caravan, which is what you're used to seeing. So let me clear the chart for you first. 25% of our year has elapsed. We're on the new fiscal year, and we finished March 31st with 25% of the year elapsed. So this is Q1 report. Here's the results from 2023-24. It's from the full calendar year that the full fiscal year that we did. It does not include the back 5 months stub period, because you'll get into some confusion when you start comparing a full year to 5 months. So I've done this for the preceding 12 months. So these were our actuals. Then we lost $32,000. Q1 here, budget for 25 here, how much of the year we've spent so far or collected in income, and then some variances, and then these are explanations. So let me go through a few highlights. In the green box, okay, we planned $1.1 million of income through Q1. We've collected 63% of that. The budget versus 23-24 is 17%. You probably think I'm crazy for having a 17% dues increase because I complained about the 21% the previous year, but let me break that down for you. $156,912. It's just because of the dues increase from $75 to $99. So it's rate only. Okay. The 167 to 156, that 12,000 is really comprised of 2 things. We planned our income in things like leases, because we used to lease that 10 acres, interest income, merchandise, all that's down about 54,000. And then I included some attrition numbers, as you recall, when I planned for the membership dues increase. I thought we were going to lose some members out of the club. We're not doing like that I'd planned, so I should have some favorability in income this year that we can redeploy to something else. So said simply, I only planned $12,000 of increased income outside of the dues increase, which is not much. And so we ought to be able to accomplish that with not much problem. From a member perspective, we planned 9,862 members. We're at 9,736. So we're within 100 members of hitting our membership budget for the year, and we're only a quarter of the way through the year. So I'm very, very optimistic about where our income is going to come in this year. If you look at your expenses here, we're about 27% of about 25% of the year that's gone by. And what I've done, this is a true EBITDA now, EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So I've pulled the interest, depreciation, amortization, and taxes out below the line. That wasn't that way last year. So you can see this is really cash from your operations, and then these are those other things. And so we're still at about 25% across the board, which is great. We've got some small variances over here, but nothing to be concerned about. Down here, the International Rally looks a bit wackadoodle. We're forecasting to make $100,000. Right now, we've got $655,000 of quote unquote profit, but we haven't paid a ton of bills yet. So once we pay those bills, that profit will come down substantially. And then the Caravan, you see in Q1, we lost $4,600. Beginning April 1st, Ray Combs and I have agreed that we'll transfer $10,000 a quarter on the first month of every quarter. in for administrative support. That transfer occurred on April 1st of this year. So that first 10,000 came, and then April 1st, as many of you are aware, he started charging a 3% fee if you use your credit card for caravans. So we should no longer incur caravan credit card fees, which is fantastic. So thanks to Mona and Ray and Lori and the team for the work on that. John as well. From a balance sheet, I'm not really going to spend a lot of time on this. The reason why is because there was a lot of transfers out of the club balance sheet in to establish the International Rally balance sheet and the caravan balance sheet. So when you look at it all, the activity is a bit anemic, but it looks like it's massive because you've got massive swings coming out of ACI into caravan and International Rally. Said differently is, in Caravan International Rally, we had assets, aka cash, that were sitting in the ACI books. We've now pulled that out, put those on their own balance sheets. So I'm going to move forward here to International Rally as an example. So International Rally now, I don't have a previous year comparison because, again, in the preceding 12 months, we didn't have an International Rally. That took place in the stub period. But this is the level of detail you will now be able to see in the income statement going forward. You'll be able to see what generates our $800,000 of income. Where does it come from? Sponsors, donors, exhibitors, rally. So you actually will be able to see what generates our income. And conversely, you'll be able to see where we spend our money as well. So you'll have this level of granularity as we go forward, which I don't think y'all have seen before. So that's one benefit there. And then you can see checking accounts, savings accounts, undeposited funds. Here's the balance sheet for International Rally, this $750,000 that was pulled out of ACI and put in International Rally. So you've got all this now separately. Again, we didn't have an International Rally in the preceding 12 months. So that's why you see nothing there. A headline on caravans, same thing on caravans. Right now, it's, we've got income coming in, we've got payouts, credit card fees, and bank fees. And you can see here's the credit card fees I told you about. So we're starting to get more granularity. What you don't see is behind this, Lori's got every caravan by individual, by expense type. So she's got gobs of detail, okay? And it all leads into these three financial statements. So good news there. The reserve and the mortgage. So here's where we are on the reserve. So I've kept this and I continue to walk this forward. We started with 202,420 when we started this dance together. We put 12 grand in the stub period, another 30,000 at the end of the year. And then our plan this year, I'll go back here for just a second. Our plan right here, reserve, is $109,000. If you divide that by 4, that's $27,333 a quarter. So we now carry a reserve budgeted item, and like a reserve budgeted item, we're physically depositing money every quarter out of our budget into the reserve. The reason it's not $27,333 and it's $28,224 is there's interest, okay? Now, as of yesterday, we contributed another $50,000 to this reserve that's not on this schedule because this schedule came out 2 weeks ago. So our reserve funds are now over $320,000. So we're making our way on reserves. So it's going the right direction, which is great. On the mortgage, this should resonate with you from last year. We started with 476. Here's the terms of the mortgage. We paid that principal payment at the end of last year. Principal we paid in first quarter was about $5,500. It moved around a little bit because again, we finished this 2 weeks before the quarter closed. We have to make an adjusting entry to make sure that gets reflected on the balance sheet properly. We did that, but again, these decks were put together 2 weeks before we actually closed the books. As of yesterday, we paid another $50,000 off the mortgage. Okay, so the mortgage is now down under $400,000. And I'll tell you where I got that money from. So $50,000 went into the reserve, $50,000 came off the mortgage. Reserves are going up, debt's coming down, and we're still balanced on our budgets, and we're still on track to hit our budget for the year. So it's all real good and positive there. Now, where did it come from? Lifetime member accounting. So big thanks to Sean on this, Sean and Lori. Okay, lifetime membership. Just to give you a background on this, ACI members can purchase a lifetime membership, and it's based upon yours and your partner's blended age. And once the lifetime membership is based on the age of the member, it goes until you're 82. So if you're 80 years old, then the lifetime membership covers you for 2 years. If you're 22 years old, it covers you for 60 years. And so we amortize that balance based upon a member's age. The way we do that was we set up a tracking spreadsheet by big red number, by person, for the first and last name of the person, the partner's name, When do they expire? What was their age when they joined? How much did they pay? How much? So we've got a very accounting centric spreadsheet where we actually keep up with this every single quarter now in a way that we haven't by individual. Now, why is there money? So when the old accounting was when ACI established both a savings account and a liability account for lifetime members. Now that doesn't mean a lot to y'all. Liability accounts are something we carry on our balance sheet, and a savings account is cash. So when we get cash, and if you join lifetime members and you paid the club $2,000, we put it in a savings account. We set it aside. Well, look at right down here in green. The cash receipt, when you join lifetime members, non-refundable. If it's non-refundable, there's no reason to keep a savings account. Well, guess what? The savings account had $110,000 in it. So if I don't ever have to refund a member for lifetime membership on the accounting side, then there's no reason for me to keep a savings account. Well, voila, where did the $50,000 come from to increase the reserve and reduce the mortgage? It came from right here. So I took the lifetime member savings account, which we no longer, according to GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, we no longer need to maintain that. So I used that to relieve our mortgage and increase our reserve. Okay, it's a one-time deal, but still was $100,000. That was a nice surprise. Okay, so and I just covered all this. So, and this just says what I did. So Lori and I are still working out the balances, but we think that we'll probably have closer to 60,000 going in reserves, but conservatively put 50 in right now. And then the CD did come due in the last week. It was 50 grand, and that's what I paid off the mortgage. So, all right. I'll pause there because I got two more presentations I want to go through and field any questions y'all might have before I go any further.
John Holly.
My apologies to everyone. I have to leave this meeting right now. Ron Jorgensen, my second VP, is on, not as a panelist, but Terry, you might want to promote him up. And I apologize. I love the reports. I'm sorry I've got to leave. Have a good day, all.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Sean.
Okay, I see Sean next.
So the only thing that I'll add to that is a question has come up about should we just take what's sitting on the liability side of the balance sheet right now? Should we just recognize that? And this is where GAAP comes in, generally accepted accounting principles, and says you recognize revenue as you earn it. So we're going to recognize the revenue as each year passes. So there's currently a little over $100,000 sitting on the balance sheet in the liability section, and we'll amortize that each year up until age 82. So my only 2 cents to add.
Yep, good clarification.
Thanks, Sean. And I just have to interject some humor. So I love having people that really are into this. We were at a rally together, and there was a couple of pennies on the ground. And Sean and I were looking at them. And I was like, well, do you pick up the upside down penny? And she says, I'm an accountant. I pick up every penny. It was so fun. So that is the attitude that we're getting of you guys have really done a phenomenal job of looking at every penny in our accounting and establishing the reserve stability. So thank you so much for that. It really matters a lot. Yep. Okay, Alan, back to you.
Okay, cool. So let's go through the treasurer's handbook. Let me tell you what the concept is. So the idea is treasurers flip around in clubs a lot. And I get a lot of phone calls every month from treasurers. This month, I probably fielded 6 to 8 phone calls from treasurers with questions. And transitions, they can be rocky when you move to treasurers. Some clubs have got really, really good desk procedures, I call them, and some do not. I was a club treasurer for a while, and there was no desk procedure. I got a checkbook in the mail and said, good luck, and so I had to establish the desk procedures. So our idea here is to leverage national programs, leverage some of our national programs like the U.S. banks, if we choose to do that, but also national knowledge, right? And put it all in one place. So we've got a kind of a how-to guide that the treasurers can utilize that would cover everything from if you've got extra money in your treasury, what are some suggestions on how you might invest it? How much should you potentially keep in reserve? How do you file your 990 form? What is a 990 form? What's a W-9 form? What's your responsibilities for 1099s to vendors you have at your rallies? All those types of things. And so put into a handbook. So the idea here is not to take away local club autonomy. So don't hear that, okay? The idea here is to give you a how-to guide if you choose to use it to help guide your treasurers through how to do their jobs the way that we think they should be done. You still want to stick to your generally accepted accounting principles, but don't look at this as a mandated deal. It's a best practice manual is what it is. The idea here is to engage club treasurers, all 112 of them, in periodic calls. So we'd set up, like much like Eric does with Lori on the campfire chats, we'd set up 3 or 4 call-in numbers once a quarter. The treasurer could call in, contribute to ideas of best practices for a handbook, and then keep that going as we move through, that if treasurers have got ideas. Success would be nobody dials in because everybody's got what they need, right? So at least as we move through it. So publishing the manual that aligns the practices with the majority of the clubs if possible. The manual will not address infrequently used practices. Those will stay unique. So here's the idea. If I've got y'all support, 4 to 6 facilitated call, open to all treasurers, VPs, presidents. If you want to attend, you can as well. Solicit input from local clubs to leverage what is already done. And we're currently working off the Minnesota chapter manual. I've got that, and it's very comprehensive, and it's a really good manual. So we're going to use that as our base. In June and July, draft the manual, and then in August, publish a version that we can get out to the club treasurers, particularly as terms start coming up and they start flipping over. We want to have something in their hands before the fall time. So questions here? Do I have head nods for support on doing this with y'all's treasurers, or has somebody got some violent disagreement against it? Good? Millie?
Yeah, just a quick question. Kudos on this idea. I think it's a long time coming. When you say publish version 1.0, this will be a virtual thing, something online. It's not going to cost the club. It's not a printed document because it's going to evolve so much, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All electronic, no paper. No paper. Sean?
Hey, let's include the regions on this. And then my only other 2 cents is we heard last week on the region president call some horror stories of a couple of old treasurers were still on bank signature cards. Someone had passed away. So really that's what we're trying to do, is have procedures in place that help with that. So that's, hopefully this helps, but signing off.
No, that's good, because when I transitioned over Region 3 Treasury, my predecessor passed away, and it was a nightmare, an absolute freaking nightmare to get it transitioned. So, because we had signature cards and all that stuff too. So, okay, good. Thank you for that last section, and then I'll stop. One of the projects we've been working on is insurance. And let me give you a headline on what's going on in insurance. So we spent about $37,000 a year on insurance for the club. This is a breakdown of where we spend it. I'm not going to go through all this with you, but basically we've got about 30 grand against the core part of our insurance. And then we have some insurance for directors and officers, international, and then for our Blue Beret, we've got some insurance for that as well. It costs a couple grand a year. So our insurance is with Cincinnati Insurance. There are other carriers out there that insure clubs like ours. Our current policy is a 3-year policy, and we have a variety of different coverage amounts in there, as you just saw very briefly in that screen. Okay, what we're doing right now is looking at the current insurance coverage, limits, and premiums, looking at our deductibles to see if we can raise our deductibles to save a little bit of money. The idea is to provide y'all with this high-level view of where we are currently on insurance. We are going to change some coverage on some things by taking some deductibles out. And for example, the buildings aren't covered to the appropriate level. Also, the container that we take all the goods that we have, computers and hockey talkies and all that type of stuff, to International Rally, and that container is only insured for $3,000. If that falls off of a truck, it's going to cost more than $3,000 to replace the stuff in that container. So that insurance coverage has to be changed. We need to understand both international and publishing assumptions just a little bit better. To give you a little bit of right here. So if I increase on this property right here for our buildings, right now we are only covered at about an 80% coverage on the building. So if something happened to the buildings, God forbid, for an $850,000 building, we're only covered for about 600 grand. So to take it to 100% coverage, it's only $900 a year. I think I'll save more than that when I look at some of the deductible levels in here as well. And this inland marine is what I was talking about with the container that they, for some reason, called inland marine. We've only got $3,000 of coverage. We've got $35,000 to $40,000 of equipment in that box. So we're looking at all this. Still more work to do, but we're going to finish the requote on those items on that page. We'll look at our deductibles. We'll look at the Blue Brain International. John has been helping me on the international piece of it. And then we'll look at maybe rebidding it. We've been with this company for 30 years. Maybe it's time to look at rebidding and making sure we're competitive in the market. So that's a lot. That's 40 pages of stuff from my desk. Hopefully it made some sense and I didn't go too fast. But if anybody's got any questions, I'm happy to field questions. But that's it for me.
Thanks, Alan. If you could unshare any questions. I see Florence.
Hey, Florence.
You're muted.
Stand by one. Here we go. One thing I get asked about in my region is about standardizing payment platforms. What's your update on that for the club as a whole?
Yeah, Craig has been doing a fair amount of work on that back with US Bank, actually, on standardized payment platforms. I don't have an update from him. I was supposed to get something for this meeting, but I just ran out of time, quite frankly. So I'll get a note out and get everybody updated by the next quarter for sure. But he's looked at PayPal and Square and Stripe, and he's looked at all of them. And so he's working on it. I just don't have an update right now.
All right,
I'm
thank
behind.
you.
Yep.
Alan, someone commented, I have my banker look on this morning, but with sort of with the market, volatility in our investment policies, are we at risk at all? I think most of our stuff is in CDs. Is that correct?
We've only got one CD left. We had two CDs. One of them was on that 50% of the lifetime member fund, which expired. We only have one CD left for $100,000. We've got ourselves into some money markets. We found a money market that makes just a tad bit more than the CDs do. So we're looking at that. I did do an audit of the VAC books at their request.
All right.
They had 3 years worth of financial records on there, and there were some items in there that I thought would put them at risk from a financial standpoint, investment standpoint. So I counseled them to move out of some of the investment instruments they were in. At the club level, I think we're pretty conservative. So I don't think there's any risk to speak of at the club level at all.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, thanks, Alan. I don't see any other questions. So we're going to take the next action item next, and then we'll take a break. So we're going to standing committee reports. I see Mr. Poplinski down there ready to go. And after Joe, we're going to take a 5 or 10 minute break and then come back to the rest of our agenda. All right, Joe, good to see you again. Historical committee update.
There, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for having me. I just wanted to share exciting news from the Historical Committee. I know I had a report last time, but we finally, I've been historian for this club for almost 10 years, and Lori will tell you I've been wanting to scan stuff and find a way to make it available to members for almost that whole 10 years. We finally have made some progress. We don't have it available for members yet, but it's already paying dividends in me being able to do digital searches of old documents to help with writing stories. So we're making progress. So this is a little bit, will somebody be able to put that report up and I can talk to the slides?
Give me 1 second, Joe. I wasn't prepared for that. Well, hold on 1 second.
And I wouldn't know, I could share it myself, but I literally have no idea how to do that.
As Lori's bringing up, I mean, one of the obvious things is that, in the 70th anniversary of our club, the timing could not be more perfect for the work that Historical has done. Plus, of course, our impending kickoff of the Historical Center. So it's all kind of coming together this year. Thanks, Joe. Looks really good stuff.
I'll start talking to it. Keep everybody there.
Yeah,
I've got a copy
good.
on my local computer. You'll catch up when the screen gets up there. Just let you know, last year we did transfer the contents from what was termed the history closets in the old, that was 803 building, right? It's the old one. In the 803 building down to Little Rock, Arkansas at David Gully's office. They're in a tornado shelter room, so we are as protected as we could be. The benefit of that is David, being in the photocopier business, gave us access to a lot of very good scanner equipment. So at the end of February, Lori and I headed down to Little Rock, Arkansas, joined by David Mary, Martis Tipton, another member of our committee, and we started scanning for the first time in bulk. You want me to just keep talking? That was kind of the setup.
Yeah, keep talking. The board has the presentation, as does the membership as well.
So I've referred to in previous reports the big 3 items that I thought were the easiest to get scanned first and provide the most benefit, that being the old Caravaner newspapers that were published by Airstream from the mid 50s up through into the mid 80s, actually technically the early 90s, the membership directories and the Blueberry magazines. So during our visit down in Little Rock, in a matter of only a few days, we scanned 146 complete issues of the Caravaner. There's 168 issues known to exist. Most of the issues scanned came from my personal collection that I've amassed over the last 15 or 20 years. A few came from David Gully's collection. And the reason we scan those rather than the ones in the club archives is the club archives ones are bound into a hardcover book, and we didn't want to cut that book apart, and you could not lay it flat on a scanner and get good scans. So we've been scanning loose copies. So we got 146 out of 168 complete issues scanned. We had 9 issues that may have had somebody cut a coupon out and mailed it in, so a piece of a page was missing. I think one issue only had 4 out of 8 pages. We scanned whatever we had. And there are 13 issues between David's collection and mine that we just did not have a copy of. But I've since talked with Airstream. They've already set them aside to let us borrow those issues. So next time we have a scanning session, we will be scanning the remaining issues and very shortly have all the Caravaner newspapers scanned. And like I said, this has already been a boon. My article that was just published about that you'll see in the May issue, or that I just submitted, excuse me, that you will see in the May issue of the Blue Beret, talking about the history of intra-clubs. I found numerous facts about intra-club history in those old Caravaner newspapers that existed in the years before we had a Blue Beret to tell the story. During our meeting, we also scanned 19 issues of the membership directory. If you assume that we've got 2024 and now 2025 already in PDF form that were created that way for us, we had 69 issues from 1955 through 2023 to scan. During our meeting down there, we scanned 19 issues. The early ones you could lay flat on a flatbed, and for the years from 1971 to current, we developed a process to cut the spines off from the glue-bound versions and put through an auto page feeder. And so we got 19 issues scanned there. And then David and Mary are a force that cannot be stopped. A few days later, they said, well, we're continuing to scan issues. We're cutting covers off. And by the end of March, they had scanned all the remaining issues. So all issues of the membership directory are scanned. We can now do keyword searches in there. So for old big red number lookups, that will make it a lot easier rather than pulling 50 plus issues of paper copies off my shelf here at home. I can do an electronic search to help look up big red number history. And the last of the 3 Blueberry magazines, late last year, we did do a test of 4 issues, but we did not have time on this meeting, on this scanning trip. There's about 450 issues to scan from mid-1965 when the first issues were published up through mid-2009. Luckily, we've been saving copies of the PDFs that have been posted on the website since mid-2009. But there's about 450 issues to be scanned. We're hoping to set up a meeting possibly as early as June to start that process. I'm assuming that one's not going to get done in 1 week. That is a lot of work. And then the 130 issues that are currently scanned to PDF, we may end up deciding later to go back to some of them. When you look at the quality that we've saved over the years, these go anywhere from a file that might be a couple of megabytes to something that might be 30 or 40 megabytes, and that results greatly in the different quality of the pictures. So some of them, yeah, the text is readable, but the pictures really aren't what we'd like. So we may end up eventually scanning some of those. So that's it for the scanning. Oh, and I take that back. One more thing that David and Martis have worked on since I left is large format scanning. So that we had some materials that were donated to the club, or at least loaned to the club. And if you look at the pictures on the right, they were some very large format photo albums and scrapbooks that really would not fit on a scan on an 11 by 17 scanner, which is the maximum size we had available. And you really didn't want to disassemble them to do scanning, to take each picture off and scan it individually. So Martis identified a smartphone or tablet app that allows you to take a picture and scan it to a PDF. And David bought a stand that will hold it. You can see it there held above, so it holds it stable, so you don't have a wiggly person holding it. And so they've been testing that since then. I don't have a direct update, and if you guys want to hear, David can tell us how that went because I believe he is called in on the call. But needless to say, we're working on that, and there are other assets in the club archives that are in this format. So again, we're just pushing the technology to what we can do to make it the best way to save this stuff long term, because digital is going to be the solution for long term retention. And I don't want to let you know that those are the only people that help. We obviously didn't have the full committee present. I really want to thank Damon Beals for the work he's been doing. There's been a lot of stuff that has been digitized over the past several years, a lot of it by Damon, things like audio cassettes and DVD videos that are in the club archives. We've got the saved recordings of past IBT minutes. There is a cache of a number of different types of Blueberry articles that have been saved digitally for whatever reason. Some of these things, I don't even know where they came from, but they're in our archives, so we want to save them. The old WBCI News and Views email newsletter that was published several years ago. So Damon has been putting those up on Smart Vault. A lot of that material is still saved on the club's Dropbox account. So I've been working with Jenny Schnettler. How quickly can we get this off the Dropbox account, and we can remove the subscriptions for Damon and I to that once we get this all transferred. We don't have a timeline yet, but it'll be done this year for sure. And the last thing, I don't always include this. I just wanted to acknowledge all the members that are on this committee. They're all contributing. Some of them are kind of remote, and they're more, advice than hands-on people because the space involved. But this is a very strong committee. In our most recent edition, well, I'm going to say the most recent edition is Mary Gully. I've officially listed her now, but she's been a key member since David joined the committee. And then obviously we have Samantha Martin now, and hoping that she's now back in Ohio, if you haven't heard the news, and no longer in Colorado, that maybe some point we'll get her with a little more hands-on help too. That's all I had to say. Any questions?
Again, Joe, I just can't thank you on behalf of the Historical Center for doing this work. It again has been an initiative of ours. And I think that as Joe asked for help, offer that help. The work that he's doing, as you guys understand, we're kind of in a funny space. I mean, not many organizations have the interest in history that we have. We're almost like a municipality that needs to record documents from back to the 1800s and 1900s. And so we're on the scale of doing records retention. I think you're probably already doing this, Joe, but if not, the work Alan and Lori Tilton on records retention with Sally McDonald, because we have a lot of documents. And as Lori talked about and Alan talked about, there's a records retention policy that they're working on. I think that needs to cover some of these also records, which I'm sure are recorded as permanent. But the group is going to be trying to make sure that we don't have all these little silos of information around, that we know where all of our data is and can access it 10 years from now or 15 years from now with adequate search and keywords. So it's a huge project. I can't thank you guys enough, Joe, for the work you guys have done. Questions?
Can I just follow up on that a little bit?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
certainly welcome to work, or happy to work with Alan and Lori on any of that. And I will say, if there was another bucket of stuff that I think would be highly important to get captured and retained, that would be IBT meeting minutes, old copies of bylaws and policy. I know that stuff really is not in the stuff we transferred from the club history closets, but I do know that at least some of that, what used to be in filing cabinets in the back of 803, there are a number of questions I get asked that would require me to go back and look at those to answer. And the Constitution has been included in our membership directory most years since 1964, but bylaws and policy never were. And meeting minutes used to be published in Blue Berets, IBT minutes, but I'll tell you, the quality varied greatly from year to year, from very high level summaries to very detailed discussion of all the motions. So the more of that we can get retained, the better it is to be able to know how we got to where we are now.
Okay, before I recognize you, Jenny, Lori's already working on this. She started some discussion within the executive council, even as of last week, about looking at long-term storage and where it is, right? Because we've got stuff in Board Effect, we have stuff in Dropbox, we have stuff in shared drives, we have stuff in now in Smartphone, blah, 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 OneDrive. And so I think Lori will probably take the lead on talking to the board about kind of a comprehensive look of where all of our both legislative and historical documents go over the next year or so.
Yeah, and as we start cleaning, exactly, thanks, Eric. And as we start cleaning out 803, we'll have some different buckets of, what we need to keep for our corporation records, along with our historical records. So we'll be working with you, Joe, and the rest of the team as we start dismantling over there, because I know where a lot of stuff is, and that's why I've been here 11 years. So I know where all the minutes are in the documents from the board meetings that started back in 1955. We have those. So I know where they are. I don't want anybody touching it until we can get over there and make sure we have a great path going forward and make sure it's secured for our future.
Yeah, and if you need help scanning, I will speak for
You will.
David and say I'm sure we can get his scanners going and churn through that material, get it digitized quickly.
Yeah, I plan on taking a trip to Arkansas with my trailer. Full.
Thank you so much. All right, Jenny.
All I wanted to say was we are so fortunate to have you, Joe, as the steward of our history, and to have the team that you've assembled with David and Mary and Lori and Martis. You guys have taken what I know as a lion's share of work and just churned it out. And we will be so grateful in the future when everyone can look back and wonder, how did we get to now? So thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a break. Let's take a 7-minute break, and that makes it a little bit past, I guess, 12:30 Eastern. So come back at the latest at, I don't know, 7 minutes. So, and we'll go on to the rest of our business. All right. Thanks, guys.
Tony, just to give you an update, we just went on a meeting, just went on a break. I just got my report done just before the break. I'm glad that was not the last, it was the last thing before the break, not the first thing after the break. So I probably don't have to call back in. I think it's not gonna go very much longer anyway, but. Okay, so I just thought I'd check and see what our schedule is. Have you had something to eat? Okay, then I'm gonna make something right now during this break. Maybe I'll make a small salad or something.
Hey,
yeah.
Joe, hear your call.
Hey, Sean?
Hey, Carrie, sorry, I just put food in my mouth.
Hey, no problem. Quick question. At the last region president's meeting, you were going to send me a list of potential rallies that would be coming up in California toward the end of 2025.
Well, you can get it off of the website. Is there an area in particular you're interested in? And I'll have the club send you something directly.
Yeah, my daughter lives, oh gosh, hang on a second. I can get you the address. Yeah.
Okay, as we reconvene, we will redo a quick roll call. Lori, is Terry, oh, Terry, Terry, are you still around to do the roll call and the finance director?
Absolutely. I'm right here.
Okay, perfect.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah, why don't you do your roll call, either visually or verbally, your call.
Okay, President McHenry, you're here.
Yep.
Millie, is Millie
I'm
back?
here.
Okay, thank you. And Rob, finance
I'm
director.
here. I'm here.
All right, I'm here. Michael Junta,
Here also.
Gary Russo,
Yes.
Bob Ely,
Yes.
Fred Keel,
Here.
John Deegan,
Here.
Jan Hevener,
Here.
Chris Olson. Is Chris back with us? Then I see him. Oh,
His name is there.
his name is there. I'll come back to him. Rick Everson,
Here.
Tracy Elkins,
Here.
Lawrence Tremoni,
Here.
John Holly, not John Holly, his vice president.
Ron Jorgensen.
Jorgensen. Ron, are you here?
Yes.
Thank you. Sean Blum,
Present.
John Becker,
Present.
Jim Cock,
Yes, ma'am.
Kendall Felder. Is Kendall back? Yes, I see him. Hi,
I
Kendall.
said here, yes, here.
Kathy Geesey,
Present.
Jenny Schnettler,
Yes, here.
Mona Watts,
Present.
Lori Tilton. Yes, I see her. Lori
Here.
Grassi.
I'm still here.
All right, everybody's here but Chris Olson. So Chris, I'll try one more
Nope,
time.
I'm here.
Oh, there
I
you
just
are.
missed my name.
No problem. Thank you so much, Chris. We're all here, Eric.
Thanks, Terry. John, you have your hand up.
Yeah, just as an addendum to the last subject around scanning in the historical documents, the last three caravan committee chairs have scanned old caravan handbooks from old trips. We have them. It was done by Jay Thompson, by me, as well as by Ray Combs. And one issue is we did it ourselves by hand, in part because I always remove the personal information of club members that are in those caravan guides. It has everyone's names, addresses, and on old ones, phone numbers and everything else. But Lori, we just need to work with you. They're in a couple of different Dropbox areas. We just need to find a home that is secure. And usually we have controlled access. If a caravan leader is serious about reviving an old caravan, we would send them the information, but we just don't willy-nilly send it out. And we also took as much due diligence as we could to keep people's personal information out of the scans. Because back 12 or 15 years ago, it wasn't much of an issue as it is now. It's not stuff that you want to have around. So I just wanted the board to be aware that that goes on for those travel guides as well. And we just need a home, Lori, for them.
Okay, thanks, John. You two can coordinate on that. That's great news.
Yep.
And thank you for respecting obviously the privacy of our members, especially these days. All right, so we have no special orders, no unfinished business. I did not see any member comment. Lori, anything from your side?
No, nothing came in.
Okay, no member comment. We have no consent items. Okay, our first new business is election of the finance director. And so Terry's going to run us through the voting, but I wanted the public who may be watching to understand the process, and that's that the leadership recruitment team who handled the finance director recruitment, they did look at all the candidates. They provided the summary that was sent to this board, I think on the 14th. Thank you, John, for forwarding it on. So everyone on the screen should have all the detailed information about the candidate. It's not part of the public recording because there's information on there which one could consider private and confidential, but the vote will be public. All right, so I hand over to you, Terry. You're muted still yet.
I'm so sorry. So how would you like me to handle this? Would you like me, is everybody ready to give me a name? Is that what we're going to do here?
Yeah, you're going to pick, there's only 3 candidates. You're going to pick one of the 3 at random and ask how many in favor, and then pick the next how many in favor, the next how many in favor, and then we'll see what the tallies are.
Okay, thank you. I will do it that way. We'll start with our current finance director, Alan Rabb. And so we're going to do a show of hands. Am I doing a total or how?
Yeah, just count votes.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, the screen's moving around. There's 5, 10. It keeps moving around.
You might need to do a roll call because the screen keeps jumping.
I think so.
It'll be more accurate.
Yes. Okay. May I do that, Eric? Do a roll call?
Of course. Of course.
Florence Tremoni we're collecting votes now for our current finance director, Alan Rabb.
4.
Tracy Elkins.
4.
Rick Everson.
4.
Jenny Schnettler.
4.
Jan Hevener.
4.
John Becker.
4.
I am definitely 4. Millie O'Donnell.
4.
Jim Cox.
4.
Gary Russo.
4.
John Hawley. Oh, John Hawley's not there. So Mr. Jorgensen.
4.
Marcia is not here. Kendall Felder.
4.
Fred Keel.
4.
Kathy Giese.
4.
Michael Junta.
4.
Chris Olson.
4.
Mona Watts.
4, but can I add thank you to all who submitted their interest, and I hope you continue to be interested in serving the club in this fashion.
You sure can.
Thank you.
Mona. Bob Ely.
4.
Thank you, Bob. Sean Bloom.
4.
And John Deegan.
4.
Did I miss anybody? So it's unanimous.
Wow. Well, okay, that was a simple process. Again, I would echo what Mona said. There is so much talent in our club, and every time we look at recruiting people or inviting people to join our group or ask for help, we get just a phenomenal reply. So thank you for everyone who applied. Thank you much. Alan, congratulations. You did a phenomenal job.
Thank you. I don't know if it's congratulations or condolences. I have to go through another 2 years of this, huh? So, but I am excited. We've made great progress, as you just saw in my report, and I'm excited for the future. So thanks so much for y'all's support. I really, really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Okay, is there any other new business before we go into roundtables? Michael.
I move to amend the policy Article 311 M as a Mary 1BC. And I can bring it up on the screen if you'd like.
Yeah, not just yet. Okay, so you have a motion you're going to present to the floor. So just so everyone knows, when we have motions that are presented, the term is to the floor, and that really means that they were not available for y'all to look at 14 days ahead of time. That doesn't mean they have merit or don't. It just means they were not available 14 days ahead of time for the public. Those all require a 2/3 vote to pass. Okay, so why don't you read your motion? I move that, and then we'll see if we have a second.
You're muted, Michael.
I'm sorry, I'm being respectful of everyone else when they're speaking.
And if you
Okay,
read it,
so
could you just read it slow enough so we can get it down since we don't have it in writing?
Yeah.
should I read the amend version? Is that what you're looking for?
You need to read, okay, just read, I move that, and then there's probably 2 sentences or 4, I'm not sure, but I move that, and then we'll go for a second. If there's a second, then I will be asking that we solicit comments. You can read your financial impact, you can read background. So first, just read the I move that, and then a period at the end.
I move that policy Article 3.11, comma, M as in Mary, comma, 1 B as in boy, dash C as in Charlie, be amended as stated in Exhibit 1.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second for that motion?
Yes, I second it.
Okay, Gary seconds. Okay, good. All right, so you could give Michael, if you give the background, general overview and financial impact, please.
The simple first thing is there's no financial impact at all to the club. A little back history. So this was a previous motion that came through in around the late February, early March timeframe. I took exception to the motion when I voted on it. I had the privilege of speaking with Terry Warren about this over a phone call, and this prompted a meeting with the Nuts and Bolts Committee on March 2nd. Who was present at that meeting was the following people: Alan Rabb, Joanne Miller, Christine Baum, Larry Madden, Lori Grassi, Millie O'Donnell, and Jim Cock was there also. Who was absent was Florence Tremoni due to scheduling issues. What we discussed as a group was to change some of the verbiage in the description of the motion so that when a member reads this, that the club looks at this process as being more inclusive rather than exclusive. We've made some very minor changes. One of the changes was in 311, Section B. The original form was to develop a process to track and monitor potential candidate qualifications based on the requirements outlined in bylaws, Article 8, Section 4C. What we agreed as a group was to change that track and monitor to use the word verify. If you read bylaws Section 8, 4C, it clearly states that in order to be part of the officer of the club, that you've had to satisfy being on the IBT for 1 term, which is 2 years. We believed as a group that the word verify better met the a language that makes this more inclusive. The second part of it was the ROC will inform any potential candidate who does not meet the requirements to explain the reason and cite the relevant section. We were going to remove that altogether. I think there's some vagueness in there. It could be perceived as a bias in one form or another, and I think it just looks better that we remove it in its entirety. So that will be stricken out. The third part, which is the last part, is the original verbiage was develop the statement of candidacy, SOC, forms, meaning plural, for positions on the EC and for the finance director role. It went on to say that the finance director position uses a different SOC form. The SOC for the EC will include an indication whether a successful EC candidate will commit to taking international role if required. What I'm doing is essentially removing the second sentence. I think it's very clear in Section C as it stands, which is develop a statement of candidacy forms, which is plural, which basically alludes to the fact instantly that there are 2 different forms and that the positions are the EC and for the finance director role. And they are separate, they are different. So I agree with that. I don't think the second sentence is necessary. And if people are not sure if they meet the candidacy, then section bylaws, Article 8, 4C outlines if you can be an officer at a club. So that's kind of already been duplicated. I think the other thing that I want to state along this is that anyone should be able to serve on the EC and volunteer for their club, and that we want to make sure that that volunteerism reflects in our governance documents. The last thing I'm going to say is that this may seem a little odd that it's being brought to the floor today. I don't know where the miscommunication was, but I did submit this motion on approximately the 3/11 date. I noticed it was missing from the meeting docs today, and I resubmitted it again on 4/7. That's all I have.
Okay, and just for clarification, as a background for the board discussing, we sometimes put effective dates for these. And given that we're sort of starting the election process, was your intent that that would be effective for this election or for the next time we do an election? Because that'll be helpful for us to understand, I think, as well.
I don't know if it affects either, in my opinion. I think it just brings more clarity that the club is inclusive, not exclusive, and the verbiage matches those statements.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll go to comments. And first, we usually ask CBL chair to state any comments and talk about the review process, if parliamentarian also, if you wish. So first, CBL chair. So Jim, you're hat of CBL chair, not EC.
I just changed my hat. So do you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The CBL committee has concerns about this motion. At first glance, it may not look like much is changed in the job description. That's likely what some thought on their first read. But when we look closer, this motion does more than simplify. It removes key responsibilities that are specified in the job description. These are responsibilities that are essential to the integrity and protection of the club's election process. First, the motion eliminates the specified requirement for a separate statement of candidacy for the finance director. Sure, it says statements of candidacy, but the way it's written currently is very much clearer. This is a significant change. The finance director role is quite different from the executive council officer positions. Second, the proposal removes the Recruitment Oversight Committee's duty to determine candidate eligibility. And it is more than just being a member interested in serving. There are a bunch of us, actually, I can name several, who are running up against the limits. We may not realize that. We might apply to run for EC or for a national officer, and we may not have served our 6-year hiatus, whatever the rules say. The ROC knows this very well. And then also it's transparent for them to communicate with the memberships. That transparent communication is vital. It's not optional. Third, the removal of the question regarding a candidate's willingness to serve. As international officers, if you remove that question, we could come up against a very real problem. We need to know that we're electing, the members need to know they're electing enough EC members who are prepared and willing to serve when the time comes, so we don't run short on leadership. So these are not minor edits, taking these out. These affected parts are critical to ensuring fairness, transparency, and support for our members throughout our election process. Fourth, and finally, the motion was brought forward without consulting the Recruitment Oversight Committee chair, despite the CBL committee and the parliamentarian both specifically suggesting the motion maker do so. For a motion that directly affects a standing committee's responsibilities, that collaboration is not just a courtesy, it's necessary. So while this motion is presented as a clarification, in practice, it strips away key elements of the ROC's role, undermining a process that was carefully designed and recently updated. I've mentioned 4 flaws, any one of which the CBL committee deems sufficient cause to recommend against this motion as follow. Elimination of separate SOCs for 2 very different roles. Removal of the ROC's role in tracking and transparent communication. Removal of the question about willingness to serve as international officer, and lack of collaboration with the ROC chair before submitting this motion to you, the IBT. The CBL committee recommends that the IBT allow the current election cycle to run its course. Let us properly evaluate the effectiveness of the process already in place before considering any changes. For these reasons, the CBL committee recommends against approving this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thanks, Jim. And other reviews, typically with parliamentarian, anything you want to add before we go to questions from the board, parliamentarian, Lori?
Just that the motion needs a 2/3 majority to pass, so the vote required to pass would be 13 in favor.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll go to comment. I'm going to try to restrict this to 10 minutes, and then we'll do a roll call vote. All right, I see Millie, then Gary, then Kathy, Terry, and then Florence.
Thank you, Eric. Michael, I remember being on that group when we were discussing the words and how they affect different people, translate them different ways. And I think I remember, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the words track and monitor bothered you. They sounded a little dystopian, if that's a word. To me now, looking back, I realize that track and monitor isn't a spy game. It's a valid necessity. Going forward, as we have elections, we have to track and make sure that each person running hasn't bumped into that term limit or does still maintain eligibility. It's not just about being an active member of the club or a club member in good standing, but that they haven't already served their limits, that sort of thing. To change it to just verify, to me, again, indicates one time. Track and monitor is an ongoing process, which it's going to have to be through future elections. So for that reason, and also for the, I agree with what Jim said about the finance director. The roles are really two different jobs. Those SOCs need to stay as stated. And for those two reasons, I would disagree with this motion as well. Thank you.
Okay, Millie, okay, it's Gary, Kathy, Terry, Florence. Gary.
Yeah, I've got a question for Jim. If you were at the meeting, I don't know how many months ago, why weren't these topics and issues brought up at that point so that it could have been clarified? And then why are we dealing with this right at this point? Because it sounded like there were a number of attempts to put this out onto the floor and it wasn't moved for some reason. And the other thing, and correct me, Florence, I want to remember about 2 presidents' meetings ago, Michael brought this topic up and we discussed it, and there was sort of a straw vote that was taken at that point, and it didn't have any issues at that juncture.
Okay, so as chair of the meeting, a couple of things. One, anything that happened outside of this meeting with the president's meeting, it doesn't bear on this body, right? Because this is the body of people that vote. So I appreciate there have been some conversations, but we're voting on this now. Jim, you don't have to answer. I'll leave it to you. I'd like to have the questions be on the merits of the motion. Mr. Ginta has put forth a motion. He described it quite well. I'd like to ask that we confine our comments to the merits of the motion. That said, I do want to respect what Gary has asked about process, because process matters also.
So, as I mentioned before, both the parliamentarian and I recommended to the motion maker that he stakeholder this is the term that parliamentarian likes to use, get with the affected party, which is the chairperson of the Recruitment Oversight Committee. That's one. 2, I was not attending that meeting as a contributor. I was there representing CBL. It wasn't my role to change language or suggest things like that, and I hadn't seen the motion during that meeting.
Okay, thanks.
I think we can also very briefly touch on why this motion didn't make it onto the agenda. It wasn't sent to motions@airstreamclub.org before the deadline for the book being frozen.
So just to remind everyone else who doesn't have to do these, Lori, perhaps you can share, or Jim, what that deadline is to make sure that we have things ready for the 14-day advance review process.
The date was required, according to the list that I have on my bulletin board, was March 17th. But it has to be formally submitted to motions@airstreamclub.org, and that's where it got missed. And Jim and I cannot, and we don't submit it for anybody. And we tell people, you submit whatever you want to write, and we'll work with you afterwards to clean it up. And I've seen some pretty rough motions go in by the deadline, and then we go back and work with them. But this one just wasn't submitted, and Jim and I went back. Well, Jim went back and asked. I did not.
Okay, and the point still though is that we're voting on it now, so don't worry, Michael. So we are going to address it. We have a process for things that for whatever reason didn't make on the agenda. This is what we're in right now. Okay, Kathy, Terry, and Florence, comments on the motion, please.
Yes,
Process.
I am totally unprepared. I haven't seen this in writing. I'm very much a visual learner, not an audio learner. I would ask that it be withdrawn because I can't speak for anybody else, but this is the very first that we've been even to talk about this. And according to the notable cable chair here, this changes significantly the intent of what the ROC was doing.
Okay, Terry, and then Florence. Then I think we'll do just a quick vote and see where we are.
Yes, Michael, I'm interested in, I lost track of the statement that you said could be perceived as bias. Could you read that again and explain what you meant by that? I'm confused.
Sure, I'd love to. So the section is, the ROC will inform any potential candidate who does not meet the requirements, explain the reason, and cite the relevant section. So in reading this, there's really only one section that applies, which is Bylaws, Article 8, Section 4, Section C. And that only pertains to people who are going to be running for the officer's position, which means they need to meet the criteria of served one term, 2 years on the IBT. But if you're someone who just wants to be on the EC, any member in good standing there should be no really any reason why they should be denied.
I think that's denied.
I'm still not understanding that completely, why that represents bias. So I think what you're saying is, if somebody just wants to be on the EC but not be an officer, that statement you feel like would prohibit some people from running that want to be on the EC but not be an officer. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. That's correct.
I'd like Jim's and Lori's opinion about that. I mean, I think that's a reasonable question to raise.
I'm going to hold tight to getting a couple more comments in, and then we're going to go to a vote and see where we are. Terry, did you get your initial question answered about bias?
I did.
Okay, thank you, Michael. I understood what you were saying as well. Thank you. I understood your response. Okay, there was Florence, but she disappeared.
No, I didn't mean, no, I'm still here.
Okay, Florence is next, and then Jenny, then we're going to do a roll call vote and see where we are.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. I too am hearing this for the first time. So I'm putting together my thoughts on the fly. That's why I was like the fifth to raise my hand. In the fall of 22, I think it was, I co-chaired the special committee on elections, and about a dozen of us spent better part of 5 months developing a lot of this language in our what was a new process for recruitment and elections. Now this motion is, I feel like it's being asked, we're being asked to dilute that process and to make changes without really being able, well, to see it like Kathy. I would like to see the old language, the new language, the red lines. We just met as a group 10 days ago with the region presidents. This was never mentioned. But more importantly, there was no input from leadership recruitment. And they're the ones who took our work from the special committee and they refined it over even more months. So I think voting for this today is weakening this process of lots of people and lots of hours. I'm not seeing what we're trying to accomplish with these changes and how it benefits the members. That's always the bottom line I look for. It looks like we're being asked to remove parts of LRO's work, but we haven't asked them. And just like Jim mentioned, I'm confused about how we could do that. How can we proceed and not let leadership recruitment chime in on their work? I'm afraid this would make us less credible as a board. And that if these changes did get approved today, that we would become weaker in our effectiveness. I just think we owe it to our members to be responsible decision makers. And I don't think I understand the downstream ramifications of this.
Okay, thank you, Florence. I'll take the last one, Jenny, because we're right under my clock of 10 minutes. So then we'll go to a roll call vote. Jenny?
This is just a very quick point I'd like to make is that technically you're not correct. The implication that the only people this would affect would be people wanting to run for an officer position as an EC member. Anybody running for the EC also must follow certain criteria that if they had run before. Is their time running out? Would this be their final term? Would it put them over their term limits? Had they met the hiatus? So those are questions that will remain regardless of whether they're seeking an officer position or not. And the ROC letting them know that is the job that the ROC needs to be doing. So technically, I think there might just be a misunderstanding about what you're perceiving as a bias is in fact an essential role that they need to take care of.
Okay, thank you, John. I want to make sure that no one feels their voice was squashed. So does anyone have a compelling comment or question they want to ask before we go to vote that hasn't spoken before? All right, Terry, if you could run a vote for us, please.
Yes, past President Mona Watts. This is a vote on the motion.
As the OG of the LROC, I have to say no. Sorry.
I vote no as well. Region 3 President Bob Ely.
No.
EC member Jenny Schnettler.
No.
Vice President Millie O'Donnell.
No.
Region 4 President Fred Keel.
No.
Region 7 President Chris Olson.
No.
Region 6 President Jan Hevener.
No.
EC member Kendall Felder.
No.
Region 9 President Tracy Elkins. Okay, got it, Tracy. Region 11 Representative Mr. Jorgensen.
No.
EC member Jim Cock.
No.
Region 2 President Gary Russo.
Yes.
Region 5 President John Deegan.
No.
Region 10 President Florence Tremoni.
Sorry, no.
Thank you. Region 8 President Rick Everson.
No.
Region 1 President Michael Junta.
Yes.
Region 12 President Sean Blum.
No.
EC member John Becker.
No.
EC member Kathy Giese.
No.
The motion fails with all yes and 2 no.
Okay, thank you, Terry. And again, I'm all about process, right? And one of the lovely things about our group is that we have a process for bringing things up and talking about them. So thank you all for your respect of Michael to bring his concerns up. because that's really important that we respect our peers as well. So thank you. And Michael, it sounds like there's something the board may want to talk about for the future elections with more background. So it's potentially that if resubmit could be discussed again, potentially. All right, let's do a roundtable of the region presidents. And I think I'm going to start with 12 and work down.
Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry. Lori, you have a point of privilege, I believe, correct?
As a quasi-member of the Executive Council, I'd like to step out of my role as parliamentarian for a brief point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Over the past 2 years that you have trusted me in this role, I've witnessed countless members work on behalf of our club and its benefits, some in leadership and some not. I want to thank the leaders who have taken risks to move our club into areas that create new benefits for our club members and the general communities where we camp and gather. The leaders over the past 2 years have accomplished many goals for our members through criticism and praise, and I want to thank them for their time and talent to our club. As we move into a transition of new leaders, I hope that those EC members and region presidents who are transitioning out don't go too far and continue to guide the club on behalf of our entire membership. Transitions and elections can be tough, and I just want to thank all of you for the work you've done. And we have a ton of new benefits that our members are gaining from, so thank you.
Thank you, Laurie. Okay, we'll start at Region 12 and work numerically downward.
Well, Lori Grassi took my very first comment. I just wanted to say thank you to you, Eric, and to the current EC. I mean, it has been a pleasure working alongside you, and I'm so excited with the direction the club is. So Lori was far more eloquent than I am, but a thank you to all of you. Region 12, we are actively working on our next region rally. It will be at Benelli Bluffs, October 15th through the 19th. Our registration should go out within the next few weeks. 150 members down at this beautiful site, so it'll be really awesome. And like all of you at the international level, we're already working on 2026 and 2027. I'm pleased to say that our 2026 rally will be in Las Vegas at the end of October, and hopefully we'll be announcing 2027 soon. So, and lastly, most importantly, we just wrapped up elections at Region 12. I'm delighted with the team that I get to work with, and I just feel very proud to work with all of them. So enough for me.
Thank you, Sean. We do have one more meeting on July 11th, so we're not all scattering, right? Or 17th, whatever day it is. All right, Region 11, Ron.
Hey, Eric, thank you. Hey, I just want to ditto to all the appreciation. This is only my second IBT meeting I participated in, first time as a panelist, but I am very impressed with the initiatives and the individuals involved. And again, just thank you all. I will talk about our Region 11 rally that we have coming up in July in Granby, Colorado, which, if you're not familiar with the areas, just outside Rocky Mountain National Park, and I hope to see some of you there. But things seem to be going well, and I certainly enjoy my association with John Hawley and Sam and others in Region 11, but kind of new to the role, so I'm excited to continue to see what evolves.
Thanks, Ron. You got some characters there in Region 11, that's for sure. So excellent. Thanks for stepping in. All right, Region 10, Florence.
Thanks, Eric. And yes, ditto to Lori's comments. And this current EC has just been fabulous to work with. I've learned so much, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens. There's really lots going on in Region 10. The first ever Region Caravan is happening this year, sold out in like 20 minutes. And we've got about 6 or 7 members putting in ideas for future caravans. It's a project I hope carries on after my term ends this summer. We also have 2 national event rallies in Region 10. One of them is the Pendleton Roundup, which has been successful for many years, but brand new to the Airstream Club this year is the Calgary Stampede National Event Rally. I got to say, they're having, I thought this thing would not only sell out, but go to a wait list. I'm surprised they just barely hit their break-even number. So it is going forward, and it is such a fabulous event that I hope the people that go just come back and tell all their other club members, and it just ends up growing. And then lastly, I will put in a shameless plug. Terry and I are hosting a national caravan this year. It is called Exploregon, and we will circumvent the state of Oregon with 9 stops and just over 3 weeks. And the really exciting thing is that most of our caravanners are from east of the Rockies. So I love that. It is sold out and on a wait list for 2026, and I've got 4 rigs for 2027. So lots going on.
That's fantastic, Florence. Thank you. All right, Tracy, Region 9.
Well, I found my mute button. Thanks, guys. So Region 9 has been so busy. We started off with our National Event Rally in February, streaming on the Strand, and it was a sold-out rally. And then we got just a big blast of winter weather down in Galveston and had about 7 rigs that canceled the day of the rally. So although we were sold out going into it, we had a shorter crowd this time than usual, had the coldest streaming on the Strand that we've ever recorded, but we had a blast. We introduced a commercial hospitality tent this year, and it was great timing for that, because without that hospitality tent, we might have really frozen our rears off. But if you've never done streaming on the Strand, we'll open registration in September. And it's just a great time. We've got another national event rally coming up in just a little over a week. It's Stitching and Fishing down at Hillsboro, and takes advantage of the wonderful fishing weather, and then the sewists can get in and sew to their heart's delight in the beautiful, beautiful rally room there at Hillsboro. They have the Terraport completely full, plus they've got members in Hillsboro that have donated their sites for the rally use. So that's just a great, great rally, and they're also very full. And then a little over a week ago, we did our Region 9 rally down in Edna, Texas, called Escape to the Country. It was an unbelievable rally. Many deemed it as the best Region 9 rally that they've been to. And so we were just really super excited. Millie was there for us, and it was just lots of fun. So things are bustling here in Region 9. And when we hit the summer, we'll take a little bit of a siesta. But right now, we're going strong. We hope you guys come see us soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Tracy. I love how you guys in Region 9 are working, with Intact, the community, to stage events. I was there for the Ham Radio event last year, and a caravan came through there, and cool stuff. So great job in Region 9.
We're very fortunate to have 2 of those Airstream-only communities, and they work with us great. We're very, very glad to have them.
Yeah, sweet. All right, Mr. Everson, how are you doing out there?
Good, Eric. Thank you very much. And greetings from the Midwest, great Region 8 Heartlander. First of all, we've been busy for the last 2 months preparing for our Region 8 rally, which is coming up at the end of this month in Amana, Iowa. And Jenny, sorry, we can't make your party because we're going to be in Amana celebrating Region 8 rally. We're celebrating with them during their MyFest celebration. And we've got, as far as I can tell, the biggest number of participants that we've ever had in the last 6 years. We've got 180 folks that are registered to come.
Oh, that's amazing.
We've got 85 different Airstreams, and we've got a whole weekend full of great fun and activities and dancing and music. And so we're very much looking forward to this coming up, and it's been a pleasure this year, and hopefully we will just continue. Thank you very much.
Great stuff, Rick. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Region 7, Chris.
Hi. Actually, we're just kind of coming into our camping season up here in the north. So on the plus side, we've had like 70-degree weather the last few days, which has been nice. But my three local clubs they have their rally schedule put together for the year. We have the next region rally is in September over at Taylor Falls, Minnesota, in that area. And actually, for the most part, for the last few weeks, I've been getting ready to go to the Springtime Kentucky Caravan. And we're hoping the floodwaters at Bowling Green Campground will have receded by the time we get there next week, Tuesday. So when they sent out a notice like a week ago saying they were about under 2 feet of water. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. I have not heard an update since then. So, but that's about it. Not really a whole lot going on in Region 7 other than that.
Thanks, Chris. So you guys may remember, but one of our members proposed a new intra club or interest group, and Chris raised his hand to help out. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about that. Yeah, Anthony Robbins, I believe, is putting together a fly fishing intra club for the Airstream group. He's got officers lined up. He's got the first 10 members lined up. He has a flag and logo design, which obviously needs to get approved, and I think we're getting very close to being able to send the whatever the document is that needs to get looked at by Jim Cock as part of the CBL to put all that together. So hopefully at our next IBT meeting, we can present that as a motion to have that approved. If not that one, then it'll be the following one.
Oh, I'm hoping we can do this electronically, which we can. I'd love to get that.
Oh, that'd be even easier.
Launched before the summertime, right? We can do it right away. So
okay,
fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I'm meeting with him this afternoon at 4 o'clock, and we'll see exactly where we're at.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, Region 6, Jen.
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to tell you about Region 6. We have been very busy. It seems like something's going on daily. I'm excited to say that the Alabama Club, as you all know, you voted on, and it was passed, the new logo. We have a brand new club in our region. This is club number 8. It's the Emerald Coast Airstream Club, and they had their flag, logo, and charter approved this past week. So we're very proud for them. In our elections for our officers, the club has elected DJ Watson as the incoming second VP, and we're really excited about DJ coming in, and I think she will be a great asset to the club. Pensacola, Alabama, Mississippi, all of our clubs are going strong. The Louisiana bunch, they're sending out notices every week about new rallies and this, that, and the other that's going on with them. I'm so proud of our people because they are working hard and they're excited about what they're doing. I do want to mention again that we have Airstream on the Square to come up in October. We have opened up a generator section. We are filled up on the square, but anyway, if you get in on the generator section, if we have cancels, that's where we pull our people from. So if you're still interested, we're doing Woodstock and it's going to be a good time. Also, our Region 6 rally, it'll be September 24 through 28 at Sevierville, Tennessee at the Ridge. And we are still taking names and booking people. We are at a waiting list, but remember, folks, life gets in the way and people cancel every day. So don't give up. Get your name on that list and we'll just try to get you on because you never know when a site will come open. But that's about it for Region 6. We're all doing good. We're healthy, and I'm proud of all of them.
Thank you, Jen. Jim, you had your hand up. Was there something in the middle you wanted to ask about?
Yes, I do. And I'm sorry to interrupt this great flow, but just a piece of new business that we don't seem to have covered was the review of the motions that have taken place since our last meeting.
Yeah, I got that. I got that down. Thank you. I'll circle back around to that. Thank you. I realized that as well. All right. Region 5, John.
Good afternoon, everybody. John Deegan, Region 5, and we are today 3 weeks away from going back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Eric, you're still welcome to join us.
Oh man, we were there last year with John and them guys. It was an absolute blast. We can't come this year, man.
That is such a shame. This is the first time that a rally has been scheduled in Indianapolis for the month of May. The last time was in 2005 when the Central Indiana unit hosted a national rally. And I want to say that there are a wonderful group of volunteers that are helping us put that together. In fact, one is on here with us. First VP of Region 5, Tammy Price, is with us as a participant. And Tammy and Tom and Macy and others and people from the Central Club and from other clubs in the region have really come together to build what should be a wonderful rally for us. The community is coming together. The town of Speedway is excited about this, as is the Speedway itself. And we will be there not for the Indy 500 that has 300,000 people, but we'll be there for the Grand Prix race, which is 2 weeks before, and that's only 30,000 people. So we should have some fun there. And secondly, we'll have a second Region 5 rally this year in late September. We're going to Madison, Indiana for a arts festival. It's actually a juried arts festival of some of the finest artists in North America there, and looking forward to that great activity. So thank you, sir. That's it from our part of the heartland.
I'm really excited, John, about the place you're having a region rally. Send me pics of how it looked. That looked like a gorgeous facility. So that's exciting.
And we're even going to be one more comment on that. One of the members of the family from the Servas family, the people that owned the Saturday Evening Post, will be joining us for the opening ceremony too.
Good job, man. Good job.
Thank
All
you.
right, Brad, Region 4.
Yes. So, John, I won't be able to make your region rally because in 4 weeks, Region 4 will have their region rally. This year it'll be in West Virginia, Lewisburg, where the 2016 International Rally was. End of May, Region 4 has been doing what we call a community service rally. We've been doing this for the last 3 years. I commonly call it the food bank rally. The first year we went down to the state food bank in West Virginia and helped them out. Last year we went to Flint, Michigan, and this year we're going to be in Akron, Ohio. That's a tradition I hope continues. Mike Pasfa, the incoming president, is on board with that. And you guys will get to meet him if you haven't already in July's IBT. Mike's employed full-time, so he doesn't get to attend all the Zoom meetings that we've got going on during work days. So, but he'll be a good asset to the club. A lot of our local clubs have very interesting rallies lined up for this year, and Kathy and I are going to try to attend as many of them as we can. Drag her around 3 states. So I've enjoyed doing this. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Fred. Yeah. Thank you, Rich. Yeah, Mike is a good guy. You guys are fortunate to have him in your queue. So great job. Bob, Region 3.
Yes. Hello to everybody. We just finished the Region 3 rally down in Charleston. It was a sellout. We had 200 rigs and some 280 plus people. Had 12 trailers on display, lots of vendors that we've not had before. By all accounts, it was a total success, and I'm very pleased. But I must make the statement that the strength of the club, both nationally and locally, are the volunteers. We have so many talented people. It just was, I'd just say it was brought to my attention over and over again. There's no way it would have happened without the talent and the people willing to share their time. So we got done with that. We've got things coming forward next year. The region rally will be March 4th through the 8th. It's going to be in Lakeland, Florida, at the Sun and Fun Expo, which, if you're familiar with air shows, It's the second largest air show in the country behind Wisconsin and Oshkosh. Anyway, we were lucky enough to be able to get in there before that starts, and we're expecting a sellout again for that. Region 3 continues to grow. We have some 2,200 plus rigs and some 4,400 plus members. As a matter of fact, our newest 17th club that joined us here just this spring was the Georgia Airstream Club, and they are growing and developing, and membership is just wonderful for them. And the leadership, Jill Rabb, is doing an awesome job of getting things planned and communicating, and she's just doing a great job with it. Would like to also mention that Region 3 for many years has sponsored the Galax Old Time Fiddlers rally, and we will continue to do that. And that's in August the 3rd through the 9th, and they still have a couple of openings if someone should be interested. It's a really, really good time. A lot of good music, a lot of good people, and the campground we use there, Robert, is just fantastic with bringing fresh talent to the campground for us. So it's a really unique experience. So with that said, thanks to all, and see you down the road.
Thanks, Bob. That sounds fantastic. All right, Gary, what's up in Region 2, man?
Hey, well, Jennifer, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make the open house because that coincides directly with our Region 2 rally, which is out by Penn State. So that unfortunately we can't I can't be in two places at once. The Region 2 is obviously supporting the international this year, and there's been a multiple volunteers coming out of the region to help support the endeavor there. And our season is just starting, and I'm looking at Jen right now. She's all bundled up. If you were in Rochester, New York yesterday, you would have had 2 inches of snow. So we're still getting, we're just starting to pull trailers out of their winter enclosures. So it's the start of our season hasn't quite yet come about, but we have a full schedule of activities going through our relatively short camping season. So if anybody's looking and wants to come up into the Region 2 area prior to the international, please come on up. There's plenty of opportunities for you to meet people within the area. So that's all I have at this point.
Thanks, Gary. And I just want to reiterate, his group is doing a phenomenal job working with the Rally Planning Committee to make Europe possible. It's a huge effort, as Rick and other region presidents know, if you have that many airstreams coming into your region. So thanks, Gary, for you and your team for the work on that. It's going to be phenomenal. Michael, Region 1.
All right, thank you. Well, Gary and his region and Region 1 are kind of in the same boat. I think we're on our 4th or 5th winter right now. We just got snow again the other day. If any of you are friends with Per Hamquist on Facebook, you'll see the snow accumulation on his camper. So it's kind of, we're all trying to thaw out up here. So we have a great season planned ahead. I actually added it up this morning in preparation for this meeting. With 5 clubs, we have 34 different rallies taking place, starting in May and ending in November. So it's quite a hardy group, lots of options for our membership across the board. I think that's really great to see that much activity. The region is trying to offset that with some additional fun activities for everyone. So we have the Region 1, Region 2 joint rally in the Finger Lakes to give people an opportunity to make new friends, meet new people. Region 1 is also sponsoring a rally at Lime Rock Raceway in the 4th of July weekend. And we'll have access to the chalet, fireworks. We're working on that. That's TBD. There will be active racing going on, so it should be really neat. And with the chalet, you can get a kind of beautiful peripheral view from this top tower viewpoint that we have exclusive access to. The Vintage Airstream Club in Region 1 came together also to host a rally. I love our vintages. We got a I think have them have their day essentially once a year. So in working with Gary Campbell, they Region 1 and the Vintage Airstream Club are hosting a rally in July in Maine, beautiful location, and that should be a wonderful event also. And then as we go into the fall months, again, with all these additional rallies from the local clubs going on, we have our I call it the key rally of the year, which is the 7th anniversary rally, the founding of the club in Nova Scotia, with Dale Schwamberg being present. He's excited. Everyone who's reaching out to him, the book his flights, etc., saying he's just a wonderful human being. I'm excited personally to have him there. It was really nice when he accepted my invitation, and I think it's just going to make this all that special. Last thing I want to talk about is kind of more of a broader subject, and I'm going to let Alan speak to this also. We had some members in our region have what I think is kind of a very horrible situation personally, being stuck with medical conditions in a foreign country. And we can all imagine the financial strains that come on to anyone in those circumstances. So Alan and I have been drafting up ideas and concepts of emergency fund. This is in the early phase, but I just want everyone just kind of thinking about it. I want to discuss it moving forward. And Alan, I want you to please chime in because you were pivotal in working on this with me with these thoughts.
Yeah, I've had no fewer than a dozen calls, conversations, emails, etc., about different clubs that have excess funds and they don't know what to do with them. Whether it's, region level or a club level, there are some substantial funds in some of the regions and clubs. And so the concept here is some sort of relief/scholarship fund, something that we could actually introduce as a concept underneath our, still sticking within our 501c7 status, but introduce something either at a club level or regional level, a national level, something. But we're just kind of sketching out some rough ideas, and then Michael and I'll bring it back to the full IBT once it's better flushed out and be able to get some additional input before we put it forward as a formal motion. But that's the idea, is relief/scholarship fund, something that can benefit your local communities.
Michael, that is fantastic. Thank you. We saw that in Sedalia last year where, our members really want to help out. And thank you for coming up with a structure that might make that more possible in other regions as well. So thanks so much for that. Anything else for Region 1?
That's all.
Hey, Lime Rock, man, that's supposed to be great. So I'm sure it will be successful. At some point in the future, if it gets to a point where maybe consider a national event rally in future outcoming years. I know that Margaret has been looking for a venue for motorsports. And I understand that's supposed to be phenomenal. Plus, of course, our ties with the Airstream there. So great job, man. Thank you. Okay, before we close, Jim reminded me something that I'm not sure we can do it today because I think Terry had to drop off because of cruise connectivity. Y'all vote on a number of electronic motions throughout the month. We did something like 13 or 14, and typically we're supposed to have those reported out at the next IBT. Terry isn't here. I'm going to ask that she'll get that out to you electronically, just in terms of, hey, board, here's a summary of the things we did, what you voted on. And maybe Lori Tilton, we can put it also up on our public facing page so that our members can also see what actions were taken between meetings. So maybe let's talk about how to do that. And I apologize, Jim. I forgot to ask about that earlier today when Terry was still with us. I think we're it. Oh, Mona.
Hi. I just want to, how do I say this? I'm back in Oregon. I love Oregon. It was a heck of a long flight yesterday, though. I'm here to attend a memorial for Brad Taylor.
Oh.
Brad and his wife Susan are the first Airstream people I met, and he passed away recently, far too young. And I just think about all the people that we are losing right now. Jay, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name of the other guy from Oregon who I love to death. He went around the world and Cape Town to Cairo. It's so important. These friends that I never knew that I would have, I have, and I treasure. So anyhow, I'm trying really hard not to cry, but all of you, thank you for being who you are, and stay safe and healthy. and don't fall and break your femur. I'm all good. I'm going for a hike. So there you go.
Thank you,
That's
Mona.
it.
I mean,
You're
that's what
welcome.
the club is all about. You have these long-standing friendships, and
Yep.
it's tough. Thank you for reminding us. Okay, we're going to close now. Before you jump off, Gary and Lori, are we still available to jump on a quick call after another Zoom link? Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys. Have a good rest of the day, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Thank you.